What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That right there is your girl Adara, and I am Sharif. And as per usual, we've already got some OGs in the chat, so I'm going to shout them out. We got Market Sniper, Pillsbury, and one of the main OGs, Darwin. We got Roger. We got Isaac Roberts. We even have Tim is in, baby, Easy Trader, Mr. Longshorts, Monty G, Matt Huggin, Benson Yang, we got Bruce, we got Rock, we got John, we got JC Finance, we got Nick Garcia, Robert Isaac, The Hayes Records, baby, Maroon 5, I like that band, by the way, James Dell, we got Chris, we got Scott, we got Oliver, Kevin Mendoza, baby, we got Alex S, Hamiz, Bob Kuran, we got Big Kyle Burdette, we got the Gauntlet, baby. Everybody in the house, and plus S Plus Trader. He said nicely, said hi, Sharif. So I had to, you know, shut him out. How's everybody doing? How's your weekend?
My weekend was good. We slept a lot, but we didn't oversleep, so we maintained that very fine balance.
Right.
So I was pretty happy about that. Also, I have to shout out Darwin saying, "What's for chicken?" emoji in the chat. Not what's for lunch, but what's for chicken. So I enjoyed that.
I don't have the
I thought that was kind of a funky little shout out there. So yeah, it is. I think it is some kind of chicken as well, which is what's really funny. Shockingly, it is a kind of chicken.
Sean has a chicken animation, right?
He does, yeah.
Chicken Darren Ramram. We don't have that animation. If you can find your finger onto that button, that would just be fantastic on there.
Like the way you worded that.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no, right now I'm in this meta trade.
Find it.
If we stay above 500, I'm going to stay in this. If not, I'm going to leave. Looks like we're curling down, so I'm a little bit, getting a little bit nervous here. What are you involved in?
I'm in BBAI at the moment. Strong name, up 27.33%. Made its way up to that 480 level. Look, this is clearly a VWAP defend. My line in the stand is 4 1/3. This breaks 430. I'm Gonzino. It's got to hold up this area right here. It was a bit of a consolidation bottom in the morning. Doesn't hold up above that 4 1/3. Thank you. See ya. Looking for that general VWAP hold and maybe a move into 4 2/3, 4 1/4. A tight line in the sand for BBAI, up 27.5%. Keeping my eye on some of these small cap cappers. We'll get into them, but we have a lesson today for you guys, and I think Big Kyle Burdette and the other, more short inclined individuals are going to love this kind of lesson, because all we're talking about all week, baby, is shorting in different contexts. If you're into shorting, here we go. All right, so simple, right? Shorting into a pullback. What could go wrong, right? Counter trend trade. No. So what we're talking about here, just so that I can kind of set it up, is we're looking for a downtrend and then a momentary pullback, so a move back up, and then we're going to take that momentary pop up as our entry to continue the trend downward. That's all we're talking about here. So when we're talking about shorting into a pullback into a downtrend, that's what you have to imagine. Down into the right, and then a nice little pullback up, and then we're getting it right back down. So let's get into the details. So this strategy obviously involves short selling a stock that is experiencing a temporary price increase, or what we call a pullback, within a larger downtrend. The underlying assumption here is that the downtrend will resume, it will continue, allowing you to repurchase the shares at a lower price later and obviously profit from the difference, and that's how we make money on short selling. Quite simple, right? So let's get into it. So understanding this strategy. Right, so that's exactly what I just said there. Short selling an instrument experiencing a price increase with a downtrend, and the idea here is that the trend will resume to the downside. So why short sell pullbacks? Well, there's potential for good profits here. If the downtrend resumes, and the trend is in fact accurate and we're not reversing the trend, you can buy back the stock at a lower price and pocket the difference, obviously. And so you're also going with the overall trend. So you're capitalizing on that bearish sentiment. And if you see me trade in the past, albeit badly, I like to basically pretend that I'm a momentum trader. Whether it's to the high side or the downside, I like to go with the trend. Nary do I like to actually get in counter trend. Sometimes you'll see me do that off key levels, but most of the time I will be going with the trend. So I really like this style of trade. So you're capitalizing here on bearish sentiment. The strategy of shorting here is going to align with the downtrend and the bearish market sentiment, assuming that you're in one. So how do we identify these opportunities? Very nice, succinct way here. So step one, you're going to confirm the downtrend. So what you're going to do here, you're going to be looking at the chart. You're going to be looking at the technical indicators to confirm the downtrend. So it could be easy as looking at the chart, seeing a down and to the right move, or it could be looking at more nuanced technical indicators like the RSI and the MACD. Okay, so examples are some moving averages that are sloping downward. So you look at the 50, you look at the 200, they're no longer pointing up, they're pointing down. That's an indicator there. You could look at possibly the chart and see a head and shoulders pattern after a long uptrend. That should give you an idea that we are about to enter a downtrend, as that is a reversal pattern. Or it could be something as easy as lower highs and lower lows, so a downward channel giving you the idea. Obviously, we are in a downtrend. So step one, determine the trend. What are we trending? Is it sideways, up, or down? Step two, pullback recognition. So you have to actually recognize that we're in a nice pullback within a larger trend. So identify a temporary price increase within the larger downtrend. This pullback often faces lower trading volume compared to the preceding downtrend. So you need to do a volume comparison here between the volume that we got on average on the move down, and then compare the volume on that pop back up to the volume that we got on the downtrend. Is the volume on the pop back up higher or lower than the average volume that when we were down? You're looking for lighter volume on the pop back up than we got on the move down. Lighter volume on the move up than we got on the down. That's step two. And step three is figuring out your entry point. So consider entering a short position near the resistance level, where the pullback is likely to stall and the downtrend might resume. This level could be a previous swing high, for example. It could be a horizontal resistance level or a key Fibonacci retracement level. So what we're looking for here is the pullback, the bounce back up, to stop, to halt at a key resistance level, something that we had on the chart that we had earmarked, whether that was the breakdown level, whether that was a multi-time frame level that we looked at, whether it was something on the daily chart where we kept having a level of support. Keep your eye on that level. The term or the example that I always use is that $38 level on Lee Auto back when it was like tanking. Let me show you the daily on Lee. That's what I'm talking about. So there used to be a $38 level over here. This is the horizontal level. And then when we came back up after breaking down from 38, look where we end up holding up, and look where we're stopping today. So Lee has been tanking after making that 46, almost 47 touch. Look where it's stopping at again at 38. So $38, a recyclable level on Lee Auto. I know this is not the example that I should be giving you. It was more like this example over here. So when we broke down below 38 on Lee Auto back in mid to late December, look where we popped into, 38. That was the level that we kept bouncing off initially, and that's why I have arrows at it. So that's what we're looking for there. I hope that kind of, that's an apt example, I'm hoping. All right, so those are your entry point considerations. However, it's not the end of the story. You're gonna have to figure out how to manage risk. And on short selling, managing risk, so important. I would say more important than anything else, all right? So stop loss orders, that goes without saying. You're gonna have to use stops. You're gonna place your stop though above that key resistance level that we just earmarked. So at 38, I would never place my stop right at 38 or in that high 37s, 37.90. No, it's got to be a smidge above 38. I need to give it a little bit of room. 38 and a quarter, 38 and a third, or thereabouts. So you're placing your stop order above a key resistance level. So on Lee Auto, it would look something like this. So if we were downtrending like over here, right? And then we pop back up, my stop would be in and around that $38 level, just a little bit above 38 bucks, okay? So that's exactly what I mean by that. And position sizing, also insanely important when it comes to shorting, right? allocate only a small portion of your capital to this strategy, as short selling carries, as we all know, unlimited potential downside. So if you're one of those people that uses, okay, let me use 5% of my capital for long trades. For any one long trade, I'll never use more than 5% of my capital. You may consider adopting a philosophy or a rule that says I'll never use more than 2.5% of my account's capital on any one short sale trade or investment or whatever you're going to do. So anything that you want to come up with that helps you manage risk a little more effectively when short selling, I think, is an appropriate strategy here because, well, we know unlimited amount of potential. And remember, here's some just some food for thought. This strategy is obviously very risky and never guaranteed to be profitable. The pullback might extend longer than anticipated, or the downtrend might not resume, right? So that's why we use stops in those cases. And make sure you're doing thorough research. It's super crucial here. Analyze the company's fundamentals, market conditions, and potential factors that could disrupt the downtrend. You want to understand, I mean, is there anything in the fundamentals of this company or the macroeconomic environment that could help this downtrend turn at a moment's notice? For example, is it an interest rate sensitive asset like the solar stocks are? So for anybody who's shorting, who has been shorting solar stocks, as soon as we started getting wind that the Fed may cut 3 to 6 times this year, you guys saw what solar stocks did. So you need to understand the particular instrument that you're trading. Is it subject to any macroeconomic headwinds or tailwinds for that matter? Because if you're shorting, you need to be concerned with tailwinds. If it's interest rate sensitive, you need to know about it. If there's something specific to that industry that could help it turn on a beat, you need to be cognizant of that before getting in. It's not just about technicals here because you have unlimited top side potential.
Yeah, so one thing I want to mention too, shout out to Day Trading Sing asking this question, is this the same thing as the bear flag? And it's not the same, but they are similar. So this is a really good point because they both are continuation patterns in a downtrend. So bear flag is when you've got a lot of movement down, then you have big pool of red selling, then we kind of consolidate a little bit and then continue to fall, right? So one example, people were saying Tesla's an example, although Tesla curled up a little bit here. But basically, as you can see here, continued downtrend, little maybe pauses, and then more downtrend. So, here's just an example. But yeah, you are correct, Day Trading saying, and that they are both continuation bearish moves. Also, I have some questions, if you don't mind here. So one of these is, I guess, would this strategy make more sense during an overall downtrend in the market because everything's already weak? Or what if it's like the general market's in an uptrend, but this asset is in its own downtrend? So
I think both.
Okay.
I think both. And so what I want to say to you is that there was a time in 2022 and even 2021 when you looked at the MEG, it was MEG 6 back then, and they would all be moving in tandem. It was just the charts were identical. What was different was how much you were up on the day versus how much I was up on the day. Now you look at the MEG 7 and 6 or whatever, and they're all moving separate. So there's times when the market moves in unison, and there's times when it's a stock picker's market and you pick by the name, not by the sector or trade DNQ. It's not like that right now. It's very much a stock picker's market. So I would say there are times when it's nice to just get short on everything because the market's all going down. No, I'm for real.
Yeah, no,
down and to the right. And then there's other times where it's a stock picker's market. You need to be more nuanced about it.
Thank you.
So that would be my response to that.
I appreciate that.
What else you got?
Yeah, I have. So I guess also maybe this question doesn't really make that much sense, but could you do this with any asset? So like, okay, as long as it's kind of showing the trends. Okay,
100%.
Perfect.
Whether it's Forex or commodities, crypto, it's all basically, mostly technically based. The only nuance I would say is what I was telling you at the end there. You need to be aware of what can turn the trend on this kind of instrument. Let's call it an instrument, not even an equity. And if that means that you have to do more thorough research on crypto because you're taking something crypto short, and you need to know what could turn the market on crypto in a heartbeat, what could turn the market on this commodity, oil, whatever, in a heartbeat. So you need to know how things could change, and if they change, what to look for.
That makes sense.
That's all I got to say about that.
For sure. No, I thank you for answering those questions. We have a chicken dinner winner.
She found it. Good job, Ram.
Good times. How are you doing? What are you looking at?
So I'm looking here that I've got like another either 5 or 6 pennies here, Adara, to get stopped out. Like, it hasn't updated on the position board yet because I haven't taken a fill, but I'm long BBAI, I'm long triple fours, $4.44. Excuse me, it's trading at $4.38 right now. My line in the sand is going to be 4 1/3, or not 4.33, but 4.30. If it breaks at 30 level, I'm gonzino. The reason is I'm holding it until the break of this consolidation level here from the morning. But it is kind of doing the wick shimmy dance from the north side of VWAP, and that's keeping me kind of hopeful that the buyers are stepping in at the volume weighted average price and keeping this thing afloat. But it's also putting in incrementally lower highs. Even though I'm getting these bottoming tail candles, look at these candles I'm talking about here, right here, near the white line. The white line on my chart is VWAP. Even though I'm getting that wick shimmy dance showing buyer interest at that 435 level, I'm not getting that higher high. So I'm going to pack my patience until 430 breaks. 430 is a line in the sand. Let's talk about the small cap gappers that are making big boy moves today. PHUN. This is on everybody's radar today. So Donald Trump swept again over the weekend. He won all the primaries. And now we have Super Tuesday tomorrow that will, you know, it may or may not have an effect on Funware, on DWAC. Well, it looks like Funware is moving today. Didn't even wait for Super Tuesday. This one is on its way to 15 bucks. Essentially $17 there, the high, 16.89 or thereabouts. The volume weighted average price, which is the level that I've been looking at for a hold on Funware today, right now just a smidge above that $13 area. It hasn't given you too many attempts at dips. It gave you these two over here. The first was at 10.45. The second was at 10.55. Those were quick wicks into that low $13 area. Didn't hang out for too much time there. So if you didn't have a resting order or you were staring at it, you found yourself, you know, S out of luck on this bad boy. Now it's on its way to 15 bucks. Let's see if it can test. It's just broke 15. Can it test that high of day at 16.89 Funware? Oh, baby. This one has given us multiple opportunities today. Let's hope it comes in to a more key level where I can get in. I'm not going to be chasing it. I'm going to get to real in a second, but the other one that's up big boy on the day, OCEA. What is this company?
Ocean
yeah,
something.
I know. I'm trying to find. Oh, thank you. Ocean Biomedical, $100 million market cap. The float, 9.1 million shares. Small. Doing the dance right now, just south of 3, broke 3. I want to see if this can hold that general 3 area. It initially had trouble breaking through 3, as well as the pre-market high at 5 o'clock. Look where it danced. $3.10 was the high. We broke through that. So that was important. Now it's trading below VWAP, though. Untradable for me at these levels. It's going to have to break and hold above VWAP for me to stay interested on OCEA. REAL, not up as much as these other ones, about, what is it, 10% right now, but it had a good looking chart pattern, and it's also a continuation from last Thursday. Remember what this bad boy did at the aftermarket at around 4:30 or so? It broke above that $1.75 that it was trading at and got all the way up to 250. The next day was no stopping either. This one made its way all the way up to 290, and now we've taken 3. So it's 3 days in a row. REAL is running big boy. Now it is trading at that just a little bit above 3, right? So it's right at VWAP, right at that whole dollar level. Do we get a hold up at these levels? And if we do, how much room is there to the upside? I mean, we only have a high of 322. So if your thesis here is we hold VWAP to test day's high, you're going to have to size in accordingly here because it's only about 22 pennies worth of range on there. And then BBAI I already talked about. FU.
There's no nice way to say that one.
Yeah, FUFU, FU, and I can't be blamed for saying it. I mean, that's the ticker. Way too many wicks, way too volatile. I despise the per candle range on FUFU. I mean, what am I looking at here? Look at this. The per candle range, the low of this candle is around 12 1/4, and the high is around 17 1/4. Like, No, I'm not trading this. It's just, I get that was a pre-market volatility, but it didn't get a whole lot better in the aftermarket either on average. So look at this candle over here, this big green candle. The low, 14.5, the high, 16.75. So $2.25 of range per 5-minute candle on a $15 name. That should give you all the information you need to know, and that should influence your size, your stop, and your expectation for where the stock is going to go. A stock this volatile obviously probably is trading quite spready as well. Let me just confirm that. What is the spread on this name? Yeah, about 40 pennies or so right now. So not as bad as I thought. But anyway, Fufu, that's the other one I'm watching there.
It's the way you exited with that fufu. That was very enjoyable. Yeah, so I'm not going to lie. It's been really rough for me so far this morning. The instincts are not there. I am, a little bit in the struggle bus, but we're trying to get out right now, trying to, reverse out of the parking lot here and drive towards greatness. Come on, Tesla, just give me a moment there. Cannot leave the Cybertruck. There we go, we're out of the Cybertruck. Okay, so I want to explain the thesis for this long, because I know it does seem a little bit counterintuitive, but there was a while here where we were kind of hanging out at this higher low. Also, because I was in the short briefly earlier, I was trying to do the thing that we were talking about was shorting the pullback.
Right.
Didn't work. The exit was pretty clean, so I can't really complain here. It wasn't like a, a horribly messy time. But then I wanted to go long here because we actually did have a higher high. It was like you're making a higher low. I was like, you know what, we'll scalp some of this out. Ironically, the fat finger exit at a whopping 10 pennies here was the best part of this trade. Then I added a little bit here just because we were still holding that 190.80 area well at the time. Then we fell lower. So a bit of a rough look here for Tesla, I'm going to be really honest. Also, this meta situation has me very mad. Look at this. You have a point of entry, then you get out because it falls below. I literally got bottom wick, and now we're up like $2. So congrats to anyone in this meta long. This is kind of heartbreaking.
God.
It is what it is. Microsoft, same kind of idea. I got out of a responsible area, and then Microsoft was like, oh yeah, you thought that was where we were going? Ha ha ha. Continuing to move to the upside. So good luck for Microsoft and Meta. I think there is still some range opportunity in Microsoft, because this to me is a lot clearer. We have that nice little bottom here, just around that 415, top of around that 416, more or less. If you kind of can scalp that. So if you come back to this area, I might get involved. I'm just going to be really honest today, though. It's been a pretty rough look for me trading-wise. Excited to find some new opportunities.
Good.
Vic Jan Novak saying Meta will come again. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, we'll see if Meta slides back into my DMs or if I slide back into its. It's coming into an interesting area for me, though, because look where we had that massive fall from grace around the 503.50. We're getting into that 503 right now, so that could get a little bit spicy.
If Meta slid into your DMs, would you accept request?
It has to depend on what they're saying, right? Because you can see the message preview. If it's like, hey, Adara, we have another long opportunity, I'd be like, is this a scam? Like, I want some proof. You know what I mean? I want to make sure I have all the deets in line.
Reb's yelling no.
Yeah, Ramin does not trust this at all. But yeah, so this is the meta look right now. Also, someone was mentioning AMD bull flags. Let me make sure who this is. Someone said AMD bull flag. Oh yeah, Nick W saying AMD bull flag.
Nick Dub.
This is interesting, but honestly, to me, I see it kind of less as a bull flag and more as kind of a range opportunity. So I say this because we have a slightly lower high, slightly higher lows. Yeah, it could be a little bit bull flaggy. I just think to me, though, the range on the bottom of this flag is really fast. Do you know what I mean? Like if it was a bit of a tighter range, I'd be like, it would look a little bit more like a bull flag look for me. If we keep holding this VWAP as we're holding VWAP, I think this would be nice. But yeah, I mean, there's some VWAP bounce opportunities. There's a little bit of range play. I just don't want to, make an assumption of a bull flag. And I say that especially because from the top of this flag here is almost 211 to the bottom of 206. That's a pretty wide spread. Do you know what I mean? Between the top and the bottom of this range here. That was what makes me a bit nervous.
How those wicks base out Adara at that pre-market high?
I do.
Like, look at you can see, I don't have to tell you, obviously, you see the pre-market high right there.
Yeah.
Those wicks are all bouncing off that high. I absolutely love it.
That is a really nice look, I will say. Yeah, Nick W, I definitely agree with you. This is a gorgeous look. And I do like, you're right, like how we had that 205.50 area earlier that we really cannot go back below. I think that's a really nice look. It looks bullish for sure, but I just can't tell the extent of what it is. Some people are saying it looks more like a double top. Yeah, we're gonna wait and see what happens here. I think this is a really nice look, and we're gonna have to continue. Yeah, I mean, definitely live trading not in my future for right now, given the weakness today, but we're staying positive, we're finding new opportunities, and we're not letting this market get us down too badly.
I like it.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm just listening to Obi yell at his monitor. It's absolutely fantastic.
He looks so frustrated
Get him,
right
Obi.
now.
He's not frustrated.
Well,
Yeah,
he looks like intense. He's like focusing.
He's talking smack to the monitor.
he
He's
is?
letting know the monitor who's in charge. And it's Obi who's in charge. I'm just
Looks very focused.
No, for real. Watching BAOB. BBAI just got through that $0.50 again and then had more trouble breaking through the $0.50. I'm watching here to see, do we give up the ghost at VWAP, or are we going to do that, hey, let me hold VWAP all day and then make that VWAP hold high of daybreak trade that I love so much that I've been trying to get more of these days. I'm talking about BBAI, a bit of a slow mover here, but still, you know, up 28.5%. That's nothing to sneeze at. I think I have some decent prices here south of the $0.50. It's going to have to, to convince me it's going to approach north, it's going to have to break above that $0.0075 area. We'll have to wait and see whether we can make our way back up there. But my red line in the sand, yes, I said red line. I don't know why.
I like that.
It is going to be at that 430 area though, Adair. So we'll keep watching there. Now, Funware is back above 15. And ever since it halted to the downside, it has been putting incrementally higher highs and higher lows off that 13 touch. Look at that. Now, so let's just say the low of the area is 13. Then above that, we base out at 13.75. Then above that, it's just a little bit above 14. And now our base is 14.5. So incrementally higher highs and higher lows, you're gonna have to give this one room. It's way too volatile for you to think you're gonna be able to have a 1 or 2 penny stop, not even a 10 penny stop on this name. I think it's just gonna blow through your stop and bamboozle you and you feel a little bit annoyed. So make sure you're scaling in appropriately to give yourself a bit more room on your stop. That would be my suggestion. But Funware, an absolute beast. It's holding the 10-period EMA, I think, quite decently with respect to the closing print. Not so much on the wicks. So if you're going to put your stop right at the 10 EMA, you're likely going to be a little bit disappointed. But for generally, wow, it is really Monday.
It's a Monday.
Yeah, in general, it is kind of basing out and doing that magnetic effect that Obi talks about when a stock is, very attracted to an EMA or a moving average on the day. It is doing that with the 10, which is the green solid line on my chart. Let's see if this one can curl back up, maybe do another test at 17. It's below 15 again, though, so you're gonna have to pack your patience on this one. With respect to BBAI, nothing to report there. Let's flip to the big tech charts now. Now, we saw what Adero was talking about with respect to META, Meta, trying to go green on the day. The green line for Meta is at $502.33. It's there right now. It's marginally green, up 0.01%. The high there, the IB high that we printed right at 930, takes us all the way up to 504 and a fifth. We're still below that though, but a nice recovery. Bless you, Ram, off that 496.75, and now we're well above 500. So we'll have to wait and see what that one does. AMZN was also strong on the day, did the dance there with 180. But if you were waiting at 180 for that short, you printed because it was doing the wick shimmy dance with 180 from the south side, not the north side. So it was rejecting that level. And now you've got almost a buck as it did make its way into that 179 area. I would look for a possible area of support here. We have the institutional prints around 179, right? We have resistance level 1 on pivots, also generally at that 179 and say 179.13. I want to see if we hold up at 179 and then curl back up. We're below VWAP at the moment. So it's looking like it's breaking down, but we're going to give the Amazonian an opportunity today. And I hear people talking about Apple coming back into VWAP at 175. No. Apple for me is not a long today. I'm not going to be looking long Apple, but if it changes, absolutely. What I will be looking long on, though, is Mr. Softy over here, Microsoft. Number one. It made that 417 and a third top, breaking through resistance level 1 And resistance level 1 also happens to be the high end of the institutional prints at 8 a.m. And then subsequent to that, it breaks VWAP only momentarily. And then look what it does. Higher high, higher high, higher low, higher low. So I'm liking Softy at these levels. We're going to have to get it at a good price. If it does another attempt at 415 to hold up that VWAP, I'll be a buyer around there. So Softy, good luck. Google, continuing to move down. Fantastic short today. Tesla, fantastic short today. I'm waiting at 175 on my personal account on TSLA, but I probably won't come in for a while. Nvidia is the monster that keeps on giving, though, Adara.
Yeah, no, I don't like where I got in Nvidia. I was trying to get this range because for a while we were having like a little ping pong ball bounce up and down that 852 area, 853. I missed out the first time, tried to get in, and it would have been okay the first time I wanted to get in this. Then I tried to get in again, and then it decides it's going to fall back a little bit. As long as we hold that 851, I'm okay with this because I like kind of where we had this little base earlier. I think there is some string to 851. We're holding 851 pretty well. I'm definitely going to start piecing this out around the 853 and some change. Should we even stay there for that long because it's getting incredibly dicey. But my thing is too with Meta and Microsoft, both those times that long would have been correct, but I set my out in the worst place possible, or stop, I mean, right? So I don't want to give up the ghost when we're still within an area that makes sense for me because I'm nervous. To me, that doesn't make sense, and that wouldn't really show, any growth, right? Like I said, I think one of the biggest obstacles for myself as someone who would like to go live at some point is my points of entry and where I set my stops are not the greatest, and those are the two things I'm trying to work on the most. And so with that in mind, I'm going to stay in this NVIDIA for the time being, but it is getting real dicey up in here. That's what I have going on with NVIDIA. IWM, I think I have more average in IWM than I thought. Okay. A little bit of a larger position than was originally intended here in IWM. But basically, I like that we're kind of hanging out around this 9 EMA. We're holding it like a glove. I'm going to start piecing these out around 207s. But also why I like this is look where we had that bounce earlier. Earlier, this was very rangy around that 206.80. So I like this point of entry. I'm excited to kind of piece this one out. If we keep bopping into that range, I'm okay with taking part of the position in, taking some of it out. NVIDIA is flushing, though. I'm going to have to deal with that right now. I think I'm going to get out NVIDIA. But right now, IWM has me all smiles.
I like it. As long as you're happy, I'm pleased for you, Adara.
Thank you.
So we're doing the dance again with 4.5 on BBAI. I know it doesn't show my position on the board, but I'm long 444. I'm looking for a retaking of the 4 2/3. But before that, we're going to have to get above 4.5. And you can tell there's a hidden seller here at the $0.50 because we're wicking up through the $0.50. Then right away, we're being pushed down right again, down below that $0.50. So there isn't enough size at the $0.50 on the book for there to be that kind of resistance. So I expect something a little bit hidden in that area there. I'm talking about BBAI, guys. The other one that's tanking right now is REAL, breaking down below VWAP. Shout out to Darwin as well, who brought Femi to my attention. Said this micro capper just started popping there for no reason, and it got into that 240. Now it's kind of pulling back a little bit. Darwin, I don't even really see why Femi's breaking up, but I did get an alert from Trade Ideas that it was breaking out on volume, and the amount of volume that's done on the day is about 1.3 million shares, dropping again. So it looks like somebody was buying here. Unless there's some more involvement in this name, I'm going to stay away from it. But look, man, it's up 21%. Nothing to sneeze at here on FEMY. We know that it's a former runner. I've seen this name umpteen amount of times on my scanner. I'm unsure again why it's moving up. Wow, the future just tanked, Adara. There we go below 18.3. Here comes the low of day, 18.280. We're on our way into the low of day right now. We're down 1/3% on the future. The future's coming down. Is it precipitating moves down on these Mag 7 names? I'm not even looking. We got NVIDIA breaking below 850. Amazon now is below 179, but I'm not seeing that big, huge move down the Mag 7 names that you would expect to see when you get a low day touch on the NQ right now. Looks like we're holding up possibly here at that 18.280, which is the low of day, which takes us around to that 10 a.m. area. Big move down the future, down 1/4%. Nothing really for me to highlight, though, other than that. Let's flip back into BBAI. Yeah, nothing doing here, still below the $0.50.
Yeah,
Dan Emmons, 3 6-month bill auction. Yes, thank you, Dan. That was at 11:30. Typically hasn't moved the market in the past. Thank you for reminding me about that. Sorry to interrupt you, Adira.
No worries.
I'm just going to pull up the economic calendar here so that we can talk about what to expect going into the afternoon. Thank you for reminding me about that. All right, 11 a.m. Fed Harker starts dropping hot lines. So they've been speaking for likely half an hour, 35 minutes here. And then as Dan said, the 3-month and the 6-month auctions both come in. Again, I don't know what they're trading at because I can't see them on my platform, but they both printed lower than they did last time. I know that's not the comparator. I know the comparator is to what they were trading at before the auction, but I don't have that information. So we'll keep an eye on the market to see if we can bounce off these lows. We are at lows, though, on the NQ.
Which means that...
Yeah, no, I mean...
It's patented claims. There's no...
Tesla broke 190.
Yeah.
See, where was this when I was in the Tesla short? No, I'm joking. Stressla be Stressla, that's okay.
Yeah.
We had a short, we tried a bit of a long here, didn't work out. Well, actually, the ironic part is the part that I fat fingered out of here was the most successful part of this trade. So I think that says a lot about how my trading is going today. I'm gonna be really honest. I think the big thing too is I think D. Westermeyer was saying in the chat, you know, like risk management begins when you punch in. And I agree with that. I think my thing is too, is it's like I have my risk management plan, but my plan isn't that good because honestly, I don't think my instincts are very good. I'm gonna be really honest. This meta out, I get out and then we bounce right back up, right? Same with Microsoft, same kind of idea. So I think really what I'm trying to work on is working on honing my instincts because I do have a plan, but the plan isn't working because my plans aren't working because the instincts aren't there, if that makes sense. So that's really kind of my take on trading because that's kind of roundabout. But I mean, I kind of want to explain that because it's not that there isn't a plan, it's just that the plan isn't of quality. And so I'm trying to like find a way to reverse engineer that, if that makes any sense.
It does make plenty of sense.
Thank you. Also, NVIDIA, talk about another time getting out here at lows and then it goes back up. No, I'm joking. This was pretty failed. I should have gotten out the second we touched at 851. I stayed because we were still above 851 and that was my stop, was above 851. Then we broke lower. This is just a bad move on my part. If we fail 851 though decisively, which it looks like we aren't going to, if we fail 851 decisively, this could be an enticing short because this level was really fascinating here earlier today. We had some chop and churn, but we're gonna have to wait and see on that. I do not want to make any assumptions. I see you've entered the Cybertruck.
Yes, I'm trying to see if we can get a quick bounce here, that's all.
Yeah, let's see if we bounce. Adarsh here asking about TSM. So let's look at TSM, Taiwan, semi. So meta bouncing again. Yeah, this market is wild. Okay, TSM's interesting. I like this double top here at 140-150, and then it kind of behaves the way that a double top would suggest. We continue to fall to the downside, right? What's interesting though is we didn't even bounce where we had that earlier low, so I would have thought maybe an interesting bounce area would have been that 138.30, and I say that because look, this is where we had these bounces earlier in the pre, that was a bit of a pre-market base. Then we actually fall a little bit lower. If we reject off this 138.30, this could get interesting from a rangy perspective, because I think that would be a pretty cool look. Nick Free, thank you so much for the €2 super chat. Sorry if this was discussed, but thoughts on JAG-X. JAG-X was not discussed today. I know we did discuss it last week, not ad nauseum, but we did talk about it a little bit. JAGX, I know this one, Jaguar Health, if I remember, yes, Jaguar Health. Remember this one, not seeing any news. I know there was some, the float was kind of interesting on this. I think it had a 7.8% short float. I'm gonna pull up to see if I can get all the deets on this one. But yeah, JAG-X is a really nice look here on the intraday. Let me get that short float for you, Nick Free. Yeah, so short float, 9.78%, so slightly larger than I thought it was. Float of about 40.48 million, so that means we have about 4 million shares short in JAG-X. And I mean, what a great look here. It's when Jaguar clawing to the upside, I guess, for Jaguar Health. Higher highs, higher lows. We paused for a little bit here with some lower highs, a little bit of a compression pattern, and then sprung up with a viciousness. I think this is a really nice look here. Let me look at the daily chart, because I know this one has run in the past, much like a lot of these small cappers today, and in general, definitely past runners. Oh, okay, this is interesting. So we kind of fell lower here, then we bounced back up, and we kind of eclipsed that earlier area that we were bouncing around. Then what's really fascinating is look what we have here. We have this gap up, and the area at which we're currently trading is around where we had a little bit of chop and churn earlier, back in December. So it's kind of an interesting look for me. I think if we can really eclipse this, I think this would be a nice look for JagX, but definitely last 2 days, I've seen a lot of upside here for Jaguar. We'll see if it continues clawing its way into the green, or at least out of this like 15 penny range, because this one, to call it a penny stock, would be very accurate. I was gonna think of a fancy way to say it, but it just is a penny stock. That's what it is.
Fair.
But yeah, decent short float on that. Interesting look there for JAGX, and I hope that helps. Thank you very much to Nick Free for the super chat.
I like it. I'm just gonna ask you to go for one more second while I put in my stop Adara on
Not a problem.
Tesla, because it's not doing that bounce through the $0.50 as quickly as I'd like.
Yeah, no, Sharif will be leaving the Cybertruck, and I will be looking at this NVDA, because I was talking about that 851 and some change rejection. Looks like we're getting it at 852. I have my 5-minute chart on. I like also, okay, this is just depressing where I got in this long, got into the top of the candle and got out of the bottom of the candle. We all have our moments, but definitely try not to have those again. I want to be patient here. I like this NVIDIA look. We could be curling up though at 852, so I don't want to make any assumptions. I don't really have anything here right now. But Microsoft, I know you mentioned the Microsoft long. I attempted the Microsoft long earlier, and this Microsoft bounce off that 9 EMA is beautiful. I think it's a really nice look, and I think it's something I want to be dipping my toe into just a skosh. Let's try getting in here around like
I can take over.
64. Yeah, it's okay. I just punched in.
Okay.
But yeah, how is it going here with the Cybertruck?
Cybertruck, we're still out of the money. It looks like we're going to get stopped out if that breaks 190, but I'm doing well on BBAI. Now it's broken through the $0.50 area, so one trade carrying the other. Now it's just where do I take some profits on this one? I'm thinking to wet my beak into that $0.0002 area. In fact, let's take out some right here, see if we can move up a little bit now on this bad boy. BBAI up nicely 32%, but looking at getting a lot more than we've got right now. Tesla is continuing to move down into that 190 area. If that breaks the 190, I've already got my line in the sand there. We'll get that one out. All right, let's flip back here to Funware, because this one I kept yelling about how it was making higher highs and higher lows. Now it's looking like it's making lower highs. So even though we had this intermediate retracement to the high side here, we weren't able to make a new high above that 16, like say 88 or whatever, right? So we end up making a lower high at 15 3/4, and now we're coming down possibly at that base at 13. So we'll wait and see whether Funware can make its way up off that level again. This is severely oversold. I don't know which stock you're talking about. This is Axl Rose. If a stock is severely oversold on the RSI, will it reverse up regardless of the news? So I never want you to take that into account. Like, you know, the only thing to look at is the RSI. By the way, I got out of Tesla, so that ends up being a loser for us. It dipped down below 190, so the stop automatically triggered, and that's the end of my trade. So that teaches me not to take a counter trend trade when you're a momentum trader. Come on, Sharif, you know your rules better than that, right? But hey, I figured I'd take a swing at it. But with respect to what you're asking about RSI, I don't personally just use RSI in the very basic way of, look, it's above 70, I'm shorting. If it's below 30, I'm buying. What I like to look at is RSI price divergence. So I want to look at the peaks and the troughs that the RSI is making on the RSI graph and compare it to the peaks and the troughs that I'm seeing on the price action. So if the price action is making higher highs, but I'm seeing lower highs on the RSI, that gets my attention. Conversely, if the price action is making lower lows, but I'm seeing higher lows on the RSI, that gets my attention. That's called price RSI divergence. And the reason that's important is that you're looking for it as a leading indicator, something to tell you that the move up in the price is coming to an end, or the move down on the price is coming to an end, depending on how you're looking at it. And so you're trying to get ahead of the game. So that's how you use it, as a leading indicator. If you're looking at it as from an oversold, overbought perspective, it becomes a lagging indicator. And you know, that's not exactly how I use it, but you're free to do as you like. So that's all I really have to say about that. Back to BBAI, we're still holding above that $0.50 level. See if I can get some prints north of the level.
Yeah, no, congrats on that beak wetter there. Just hanging out there in Big Bear AI, and no big bears in AI, that's for sure.
Clearly, yeah.
Yeah, Tom H was mentioning some of these crypto-related stocks. So I pulled up Coinbase. This double top is really interesting. Like I said, I do not really give technicals a lot of mind, or I try not to in these crypto stocks, because as you know, Obi talks about mother market. I think these crypto stocks have mother Bitcoin that they answer to. So I like to be very cognizant. Whatever Bitcoin's gonna be doing, that makes more sense to me to follow. But yeah, the interesting double top here. We're below VWAP, but other than this little move down here, we're still mostly making higher lows. Like, look at this, two separate trends, right? We have this. This would still be a higher low here. And then we also had earlier these lows as well, right? So basically what I'm trying to say is we could still be in an uptrend here regardless of the double top. What's gonna matter to me way more is how Bitcoin is doing. So it's not really one I would trade, but I just wanted to pull that up because any of these crypto stocks have been very hot today indeed. So IWM, I get out because you're break below my area of interest. I had a super tight stop in this one, talking like under 10 pennies, just for my sanity, and given that it's been a bit of a rougher day. And IWM just a little bit below that. And then decides, hey, Adara, we're gonna go pop back up now. That's okay, you know what? Like I said, really just trying to work on these instincts, because every time it's like the idea is right, but the timing on it is really off and the entry price is off. So that's what I'm working towards, trying to be very aware of that. And so I just wanted to, be really upfront about how these trades are going right now. NVIDIA, same idea. I get in, we fall below, we pop right back up, that's okay. NVIDIA though, this 853, if we keep rejecting this could be another area of rejection. I have no interest in rushing into anything though, because that's what's giving me issues. Mark Susi saying Boeing making the move up, and I mean, man, you called it. What I also want to say though too, Mark, and why I like this even more so than the fact that it's up, is look at this level we keep seeing at $200.40. We have this little bit of a move at pre-market, bit of a pre-market high. Then we get here, 930, we fall below, actually with some failed wicks above as well. Then we come back in, see a little bit of chop and turn a bit of a, I guess, compression wedge here. And then we pop back up. Now we're almost $1 up from that. So I think that's a really interesting look. And thank you for pointing this one out to me. Thank you for pointing this one out to me, Mark Susi, because I think this is a really nice look here on the Boeing. Some people mentioning as well, they're thanking you for your take on RSI. So people were big fans of that. But also, there was something else here that I wanted to look at. Oh, AMD, Chill Vibes mentioning AMD. A lot of people agreeing here with AMD needs to break 208. Let's see how this goes. Let's have an, okay, yeah, this AMD is continuing to be interesting. I think Nick W said that this one was a little bit of a bear flag. I think it could be a longer term bear flag, but this would be a heck of a bear flag. I do have to agree though with what Sharif said about how cool it is that we keep wicking into this pre-market high of that almost 205 and failing to break above it. So I think that's a really nice look here as well. But what's more interesting to me is this range. We have a bottom of about 207. We have a top of roughly 210. This could get interesting. I might get involved in this. It requires a little bit more patience than I normally possess. But currently the normal strategies, the normal instincts aren't working right now. So we're gonna have to wait and see. I'm really willing to learn, and I'm excited to be here and try some more trading here. How are you doing?
All right. I'm looking at Funware, Derek, because it keeps basing out at 14. And that's giving me, it's getting me a little interested here with at 14 support level. If I can show the charts, guys, in and around that 14, it's putting in higher lows. It's holding above VWAP, but this is what's concerning me right here. This, I don't like lower highs, but obviously you're not gonna always get higher highs on a name. It's just weird you get in at the right price. I'm thinking 14, and then maybe a stop below that 13 and a half. But that's a random area because VWAP's at 13 1/3. So I'm gonna have to give this one more room if I wanna get in on this name. BBAI dipped down after breaking through 4.5, and I bought the dip off VWAP again. So continuing to rinse and repeat on this name. We'll see if we get a move up. OCEA back above $3 and back above VWAP as well. So these names are continuing to be in play, and we're there right now on the future at 13.3. So this could be an interesting entry here right on the futures at the moment as we do that wick shimmy dance from the north side of 18.3. I don't know, man. I just don't feel like I want to punch in right here right now. So we'll have to wait and look. But yeah, the future dipped briefly right there on the release of the auction down to 18,282, and then it got bought up immediately at 18.3. So we'll have to wait and see if the futures can get right back up there again or what the deal is going to be. Big tech, what do we got on big tech? My God, NVIDIA's back up near high of days again. So even though Meta is having a great day today, NVIDIA is a numero uno for the Mag 7 names. And how many days is this thing going to run up? Let's look at the hourly, just for you know what and giggles. Here it is, the hourly look on NVIDIA. My goodness. It was just like, look, I can fit the whole move from 475 to 400 to 855 on an hourly chart. That's how long ago we were at that level. But NVIDIA up and to the right. There's really nothing else other than to say than to buy this name. Keep thinking it's going to retrace, and it doesn't. So that's why this thing is moving up every day, because people like it. I have got nothing to add at the moment. Right now, just looking to buy the dips on BBA. I'll look for some other stuff, though. See what's moving here.
Yeah, I'm pleased as punch with this Tesla short, but I'm not pleased as punch that while trying to get rid of some of it or preparing to get rid of some of it around that 189.40, I fat fingered into some more. But that's okay. This position's working out, so no complaints from me, other than the fact that we had a slight DCA down, so about 5 pennies to the downside, which is not perfect, but in general, I like this position. This was an example of trying to short the pop, as we discussed, being the theme of the day here today, short the pullback. I like this pop in here, tried to smack it to the downside. Going to be getting rid of some of this around that 189.40 area, because that would be around the low of the day, which 189.24. Then we're going to save a piece for the dream. The dream's probably going to be around that 189 and some change, if I'm being really honest here, but Tesla does not want to get into my point of entry. This is honestly, to be honest, this is the best trade I've had so far today, in that it makes sense. I got in an okay-ish place, and it's not completely off the wall. So pretty happy with that, have to be honest. Small victories, right? That's the theme of the day for me. It's a Monday, small victories, trying to learn a little bit with every single trade. Also, thank you so much to Nick Garcia. I really appreciate this perspective. The reason the normal things aren't working is the current niche trend to short the midday pop. This has been the trend for about 70% of the current day since mid-February. That's a really interesting point, and that's not something I was really cognizant of. But I think you are right. There's certainly been a lot of that, these midday pops getting shorted to the downside, because there were some longs, like I said, in Tesla, in Meta, sorry, not Tesla, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, that made sense, but the timing on them was just a little bit meh, right? It wasn't perfect timing. Thank you very much to JJ, much appreciated there. I am trying to rock it, trying to make some of these trades make more sense. We got, thank you very much, I appreciate that. We got some of that Tesla out, so happy to hear it, or happy to see it. I guess we didn't hear it, we saw it. But we're gonna get the rest of this out right before 189s. This is not, for me, a hold on for dear life situation. If we come back and continue to see more dips, I guess more rips that we can short, I'll keep shorting those rips, but right now, just happy to take out some profit of this trade, because I want to make sure I do not overstay my welcome in the Cybertruck, because as we know, quite literally, it's hard to get those doors to open for you in the first place with these Cybertrucks. So yeah, let's see here too.
Boeing apparently.
Chill Vibes mentioning Amazon 180. So let's talk about this. OMG, I don't even know what, but that Amazon 180 short was calling my name, just wasn't confident, even though it was rejecting that 180 so many times. You know what, honestly, I see what you mean. I'm gonna say Chill Vibes. I get why it's a little bit nerve-wracking to take, because it looked like it was setting up as a flat top break. And let me tell you, like I totally understand, and I appreciate you saying that as well, because I think a lot of it too is it's like you know, I keep talking about instincts today, and I think Quantron was making a good comment about when you're a new trader, don't rely on instincts, rely on plans. But I think too, part of it is you want to try to develop those instincts as well, right? So I think it's a mixed bag. But I appreciate what you're saying, Chill Vibes, because I think there were some evidence for either side of the coin. We did have these higher lows with a flat top at 180, which could suggest a flat top break. On the other hand, we have all these failed wicks of buying and then sellers overwhelming the buyers. Then we have that big move down. So I totally get what you mean. It's certainly a harder one to call. And yeah, I appreciate you mentioning this one, because I honestly was thinking this was going to be long, but we already know how my instincts have been today. But I did we had these higher lows, but I see what you mean. It could have gone either way, but at least now you can recognize hey, I thought it was a short, didn't work out. Now you can be aware for next time. But yeah, Nav mentioning Tesla double bottom, and I have to say, as someone who's in the Cybertruck, I am a little, say it with me, cognizant of this one right now. We did get back into that 190, but we rejected 190 once again. If we break above this 190.30 area, I'm gonna be out. I'm giving this really tight stop because A, we were already partially successful with the bottom part of this trade, and B, I'm scalpier by nature. The idea of overstaying my welcome in this trade does not fill me with tons of confidence. I do agree with you though, Nav. This candle does make me really nervous. We basically got into the 190, dipped back into that lower low, then bounced right back up. So I'm gonna be aware of what we do here. I'm not adding anything to this position. We did get most of it out here with that little dip below. So we're gonna stay positive. We're gonna see what's happening here and being ready for any opportunity Mother Market, shout out to Obi, may give us.
Yes, absolutely. Mother Market is doing her thing today. Mother Market and I have been distant, acquaintances, I don't know, whatever today. I haven't really been engaged in the trading as much today. I don't really like anything at these levels. If we can show the chart, that would be great, please. Looking at that 18.3 hold or thereabouts, this is really the only trade that's really got me interested. I gotta tell you the truth. This 18.3 hold, right? We're doing the hold from the north side, but I don't know, man. We're still putting in lower lows. So I'm a little concerned to get in here. This is what I'm talking about here on the future. Like when you look at this, which is like lower highs coming down into this level. So a bit of a compression pattern of sorts. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't feel like I really have a good grasp on this market, so I don't feel like I want to punch in to anything large and then get smoked and give up last week's wins, because I don't need that. That's not what I'm doing right now. BBAI though is coming close to my exit. My line in the sand is that 30 penny area. Now we tried to buy the dip off that last VWAP retracement at 440. Now it's dipping into the high 30s. So this one's gonna, again, my line in the sand is gonna be 30 on this one. Nothing more to add there. Yeah, what's everybody looking at anyway? I'm not really sure. I'm not liking anything at this level. Sudkar wants me to look at Apple. Absolutely. So AAPL awfully weak today. Multiple reasons, right? It's been, whoa.
Oh, I like that. You are Apple.
I am the chart now. Look at me, right? I embody the price action. Right? No, but this is a good-looking chart if you're relative short. And shout out to Big Kyle Burdett, because Big Kyle Burdett's like, yo, Sharif, look at the Apple chart and use that Apple chart as an example for shorting the pop today. So what did we say about the whole lesson today? It was basically shorting the pullback in a downtrend. So this is a downtrend on Apple. Then we have a bounce off that 173.75. We come back into that general 175 area where VWAP is, and then you get a nice little move down again to win about 75 pennies. So it's not at day's low. At the moment, it's held 174, but this is kind of, look, Apple's gonna be a short the pop kind of thing, whether on a swing trade or a day trade, for a little while. That is until we start getting some AI headlines or something device related that's changing the sentiment with respect to how consumers are spending. Because it's a device company first and foremost, services company second. So we need to see something that's gonna show us consumers are gonna start spending on these goods, these physical devices, before we can really start pumping up again. But if you really believe in the company like I do and think that it's creating an entirely new moat, you buy at these advantageous price levels. But with respect to a trade, it is a short the pop until the trend changes. So right now, anything into VWAP like it did right over here where it couldn't break through 175, that was a fantastic short. Whoever took Apple 175 short, good on you. That was a great setup on a very predictable trade today on AAPL. We'll continue to watch that and some others. Let's see what we're up to here on BBAI. Yeah, right back up above my entry we go again on BBAI. Looking for another L possibly here on at that 450. Big Kyle Burdett. On those short pop situations like Apple, I want to take my entries against the top of the consolidation channel. That VWAP and 175 gave a great place to enter. Yep. couldn't agree more. 175, you can see it's doing the wick shimmy dance where it wicks into 175 or a key level from the south side and rejects it. From the south side, I mean from the downside, from below 175, wicks into that level, rejects, comes back down, starts making new candles to make lower highs and lower lows. That's when you know you're getting it on the back end, as my friend Neil likes to say, and then that's when you get short. So shout out to Kyle. Great explanation, great call out there. What else we got? Who else is dropping hotlines in the chat? Day Trader Singh, Sharif Adera, IWM on a slow grind up, hugging the 9 EMA on the 1 minute. I know somebody on this desk who loves IWM, and it's not me.
I do. I'm known to hustle, to hustle with Russell.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Like that? Okay,
at a time. We tried earlier, and this is a classic case. I was going to come up with a fun name for it, but the point of entry was really bad here. I really should have waited for that rejection here off of that earlier area, because look, this is where we had those previous highs. We bounce off that, jump up here, right? So my profit taker was going to be the 207. We would have gotten that. But again, just an issue with patience and with where I'm setting my exits. Also, I want to clarify, this triangle is purple, but I did not short this. It was just hanging out there. So just want to make that clear, the triangle doing a thing. I totally agree with you, though. I think this bounce off the 9 EMA is really nice. I like this area as well because I like the fact that we had that 206.70 bounce up into that 207 in the pre-market as well. I like when patterns repeat themselves in the pre-market. I know as well, you know, Sharif, you talk a lot about the pre-market in terms of it can give you some levels. Like, you don't want to take it too seriously, but it can give you some nice levels off of which to play.
Absolutely.
And I think it certainly did here today. I totally agree with you, day trading Singh. And I think, yeah, this 207 bounce, if we get it here, could also be interesting if you're going to continue to go higher. I'm going to wait and see if we bounce off that VWAP and that 9 EMA. I think that could be a tasty trade. Sunil, I did get out of Tesla. Pardon?
Was that a pun?
It was not.
You know, there's the brokerage called Tasty Trades.
I did not know that. Accidental pun.
They were a sponsor on the show before. Well, not this particular show, this channel.
Like, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it'd be funny if we had a specific.
Tasty Trades.
Right, that'd be a really good time. But yeah, JJ, saying that, no, I do try to actively monitor my trades for sure. I think it's part of it is because I'm scalpier, so thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think my thing is too, is I always really want to make sure that I know what's happening, especially because I'm comfortable with taking 10-cent moves, right?
Yep.
And I have had some issues in the past with my stop losses, so I just like to make sure that my fingers are at the ready to deal with any trades if they need to be, you know, smacked around or dealt with. Also, I'll talk about this Tesla situation. Sunil did say get out of Tesla. I have been out of the Cybertruck, and basically why I got out was because we broke above that 190.30 area. I left. I wish there was something fancier than that, but risk management, as I say, is not often fancy, but it's always required. I didn't like the double bottom, though I will say I was pleased this punch. I was able to get some profit out of here. We got out at the bottom of that 189.40 with most of it, so not a bad trade at all. I would say mostly ended up positively, so no complaints. Also, I'm seeing some comments vis-a-vis my throat, and I would like to address them. So I am not sick. My throat sometimes decides it would just like a little break. So that's what it's doing right now.
Okay.
Taking my tea, cough drops, all that stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to clarify that because I am seeing some people like, what's going on? So there we go. My voice does not always sound like this. Willis Addison, thank you so much to the $2 super chat for the $2 super chat. Boom. Apple, swing puts, financing my Dune 2 tickets. Yeah, those Dune 2 tickets may require some financing for sure. Yeah, as Sharif and Kyle were having a great conversation in the chat about this Apple short. Wonderful look. I like that we have a couple opportunities for you to get that buy the pop here, short the rip off that 175. You take it, it goes to the downside. I kind of like this range here, actually, that 174 to 175 here. I need to be more cognizant of this. But yeah, congrats to you, Willis Addison. You're certainly taking a bite out of Apple here to the downside, and hopefully that will help fund the Dune tickets.
Did you see what Dan the Man Emmons wrote? I thought this was funny. The irony of having to speak and use your voice to explain your voice.
Right?
Poor soul. I mean, she's doing her best, guys. I mean,
it's like Inception, yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? I hate when I'm a little under the weather. Well, you're not under the weather, but like how you and I get sick are completely different ways, right? To me, like I just get everything up in here and in the chest, and yeah, and I can't come into work. She can soldier on. She's got a better immune system than me. She can actually make it in. So shout out to you. Yes, I wanted to mention, by the way, that we're doing that dance at 18.3 again. Hopefully, we'll have decided which way we want to go once we get back from Neil's lesson of the day, because right now it is the real deal with Neil.
Welcome to your lesson of the day. You gotta stay focused when you're trading. If you lose concentration for even a minute, you're gonna make a mistake in that moment. So you wanna make sure you keep your eye on the prize, don't get lost in the sauce. It's all about finding those ways to keep yourself laser focused. Now, athletes tend to have ways to get themselves in the zone. I find anybody that's in performance-based anything, I suppose, you need to have something in your toolbox to ensure that you can stay on point, so you can stay on mission. As a trader, everything starts with the same thing in your morning, and that's coming up with your trading plan. Now, I'm going to get into how you're going to stick to your trading plan, but none of it works. You can't stay focused if you don't have something to be focused on. Duh. I mean, come on, let's be real for a second. If you can't find something to be looking at in the first place, you're going to be in a world of hurt. So everything starts with that morning routine. You get down in the pre-market, or maybe you do some overnight. You're going to look at what symbols am I looking at and why. SMCI gets added to the S&P 500. I'm looking at that and some chip names. Tesla continues a trend down, and it's opening down 1%, so I'm going to be looking at that stock. Apple continuously weak, it broke a key level, I'm going to look at that stock. So you come up with these parts of your plan. Oddly enough, I'm only saying those because I'll quickly show you my plan this morning that I want to go over, which I sent it out and I tweeted it out this morning, like what is going to be in my plan of action. So I'm just going to show you guys right here some of the names that I was looking at. Now, just because something is in your plan, Apple, trend is still down as market continues to rally, look shorts back into 180 essentially, have NVIDIA looking for a dip and rip, SMCI looking for a false breakout at 1080 and then a dip and rip, and then Tesla, key levels 05 and 198, said you can go long off that, but then look short if it broke. So I know the types of stocks I'm going to look at. The other thing I'll do is it's not just even limited to what is on my execution plan. I'm always going to have other names that I throw on my iPad that give me key levels. I'll have another half a dozen to a dozen individual stocks and price levels that I'm looking at. So everything starts with there. So now that you have a loose plan, the first thing that's going to happen to you when the market opens up is a whole bunch of other stuff is going to happen that wasn't on your plan of action. It's guaranteed. That is the nature of the market. You're going to have a stock that moves out of nowhere. Today that was Funware. I didn't have it on my plan, but I went over to it. You're going to have a stock that is moving in the direction that you wanted, but not at the price you want. And that's the first example I'm going to give you. The number one thing on my plan was to short Apple today, but I wanted to be shorting Pops back into a 180 level. All that happened at the open is it dropped. What can you do? The only thing you can do at that point is take a step back, look back at your notes. Do I like this? I like that price level, but I also like the short. So I can step back, re-examine the same way I would do it in the morning before I make any trades, is re-examine where it is right now on a higher time frame. So I know why I like shorts back into the 180. It was a previous support level. Fair enough. Now the reason I'd like shorts at lower levels is because I think it's an established trend break. Okay, so lower highs into the trend and a false bottom break. So it's got everything that I'd want for a consolidation short underneath. So even though it's now presenting me with a new opportunity, I've got to go back through the same process that got me to the first part of the plan to make a new plan. So yes, I like the short, but if you want to avoid just punching in randomly because you're not getting the price that you want to, you've got to go back to the well, reestablish a few things. Trend is down, lower highs, flat bottom break. That means look for consolidations lower. You can also look for key price levels. I do go back. I don't see anything until you get down into the 60s. Okay, so you're not at a major support level. I should look for the trend short to the downside. I did miss an opportunity to go short there, but then you simply wait. If I miss the trend down, what's an established trade that I like? I like a VWAP retracement with the trend. So I wait until it does that. It pulls right back into a 175 and Bob's your uncle. Now, how about SMCI? SMCI. Now, here's an example where it was the number 3 note I had, expecting a 1080 false break to pull back into a dip buy. Okay, so it would have worked, but I'm not on it. And the thing about this is you might find yourself in a situation, this is exactly what happened to me, where at the open, something else which you like takes your attention. And it takes you away, and you've got to immediately identify, okay, how do I keep my eye on the price here? And it was the 205 level in AMD. Now, this is a situation where I followed my rule, but if I'd broken it, it would have worked. So AMD showed me weakness at 205 right away at the open. I'm like, oh, look at this trade. That's an easy fail breakout high. Love that setup. It's a setup I do all the time. Fail breakout high. I shorted 05s down into 03, 04, 03 half. It comes for the reload and immediately breaks back out to the upside. Now, in this situation, when it's taking out that top, my eyeballs are supposed to be on SMCI. What I need to do here, and I did do, which is why I wasn't long this until the higher low at 08, was to take a step back. Because if I just immediately punch long this stock, I'd be violating a rule of mine, which is this is not part of my plan. I got to go back. Is there a reason why I wanted to long off that level? No, I was looking at SMCI. I was looking at NVIDIA today, not AMD. So I should not be taking that breakout trade because that goes away from the plan. It would have worked if I've done it. The market is more than willing to reward you for breaking your rules. But if I break that rule today, I'm breaking it tomorrow, I'm breaking it the day after, and it works once for $5 and it loses 9 times out of 10 if I didn't have it as part of my plan. But what I could do is say, okay, take that step back, go right back to your original plan of action. If I think AMD is now suddenly strong, which is what I thought, relative to SMCI, then when SMCI pulls back into VWAP, does a false break and goes dip buy hunting, if I think AMD is the jam, then I wait for that to happen and I go for a dip buy in AMD. So I just go back to the original plan and see if I can apply it to the next trade. That saves me from just buying on the way up, finding at least a reasonable entry point into AMD. Did it end up being stronger than SMCI? No, but I was able to still win on the trade because I found something that was a reasonable plan. I was able to find it again here as it bounces off of the 208. So higher lows, I still like the level, the 208 level. So I find a new plan all the way through. And I use my original chip plan, which was SMCI, as a bit of a guide. You'll see on the live show all the time, whether it's myself looking up at charts while I'm looking at other names or flat, or I'm looking down at my iPad to go over the key levels that I've written down. That's because every time you get flat as a trader, you stop a trade, you're looking for something new, the first place you should go back to is the preparation that you did in the morning. It might not mean you trade on that individual stock. In this case, the trend in SMCI led me to wins in AMD, led me to wins in NVIDIA. But it was looking for longs, more in AMD than NVIDIA, but I was looking for longs off of what was happening in SMCI that I missed. But I went back to that original plan, which is to look for dip buys in the chip names with that trend. And that's all you can do. If you put in all this work in the pre-market and all that work overnight, then the least you can do for yourself is every time you exit a trade, winner or loser, or thinking about a new one, go back and review that plan of action and see what you can apply to it, because you put in the work. And if you put in the work, you want to make sure you reap the rewards from your good decisions and your good observations. That's what it's all about. That is your real deal. That is your lesson of the day. If you want to stay focused, make a detailed plan of action and always revisit it throughout the day. Don't just write it down before the market opens and then throw it out the window the second there's a bunch of other excitement. You can be adaptable with it and you can use it for further gains the rest of your trading day. Make a plan, stick to it, and always go back to square one when you get flat. That's your lesson of the day.
Here with Neil, that's what we should call that segment. Shout out to Neil. Thank you very much. Informative and eloquent as always. Adara, while we were talking, while Neil was dropping hot lines, the market did absolutely nothing. It's still at that 18.3, but you know what did do something? It goes by the ticker NVDA. New. I'm assuming these are all-time highs because we were printing all-time highs earlier. $856.47. Looks like we're on our way to 900 and eventually $1,000. Just a matter of when. Where do you punch in? And if you're using margin, how do you get in without getting margin called? Because it's gonna be very volatile. So make sure you're capitalizing your account well so that you don't get that call. Because if it dips into $830, depending on how many shares you have, you may get called there. And my brokerage now has a 1-to-1 on this, so you can't get 3-to-1 anymore. So you got to put, if you want anything, you're gonna have to buy it with your own money. They won't advance you any money on Nvidia, or at least that's what I've seen. Maybe they changed it. Anyway, since we were gone, we're still holding this BBAI. We're waiting for that $0.5 break now. Looks like we're holding $0.5 as a resistance level here. We're long 42s. So far, we have top wick on that move up into 58, but it's been a very slow day for me trading. I really haven't been able to find that one that I like and kind of keep it on the ropes and not let it off the hook. I'm really feeling this fun where it may have an opportunity. It's putting in sequentially higher lows and possibly higher highs, even though we're looking at that 15.5 as that clear area of the crest, and then earlier than that, it was almost that $17 level. 14 would be a great entry on PHE1, or was a great entry. I don't know if it'd be a great entry anymore, but it looks like we're incrementally making our way up for that $15 break. We did have resistance last time around at 15 on Funware, but yeah, it looks like we're poised or setting up for that break again, owing to the higher lows. And here we go. The tape is starting to speed up here, which typically means obviously more volatility coming in. It's a bit of a spready name for a $15 name. Like, I mean, at times you can see 17 pennies. Right now it's 13 pennies. So you're going to have to be careful with this one getting in. I would suggest have some sort of dip trade at a key level, wait for it to cross, rather than trying to chase this and mark it in or offset in using a 5-penny offset, 3-penny offset, whatever you guys are using on your offset key there. But Funware continue to provide opportunities, no question about that. The future looks like now it's going to hold 18.3 as it's right back up again into that 18.320 or thereabouts. This was where we topped out last time, was 18.320. What I like this time around is that we put in, I don't want to say a higher low, because we kind of came right back into that bottom area of the consolidation range, which is 18.297. So what I'm looking at here is a likely hold of 18.3, as all the dips into that general 18.3 area are being bought up. But it had to take multiple times for us to really realize that. Let's see what we get. We haven't really been able to stay and hold above VWAP either on the MNQ. So VWAP on my charts around that 18.315. Generally, all the pops into VWAP have sold off eventually. Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one here. Yeah, I'm gonna keep looking. I don't know. I'm trying to decide whether to get into futures or not, and then every time I decide, it's extended. So I'm gonna stay away from that. Nvidia all-time highs 858.5.
So you're saying there's lots of fun to be had in Funware?
Oh, okay, of course.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I did something. I honestly don't know how I feel about it, but I like the look of it, so I want to explain what I'm doing here. I'm going long Apple, but I'm doing so with a whole bunch of caveats, so let me get to those. Okay. This is super rangy. I'm taking this basically to that 174.56, then I'm saving a piece of the dream. B, look how many times we got into this 175. We rejected every time, mind you, but that tells me that to some extent there is a range going to 175. C, every time we get to that 174, we have this, these wicks here that suggest we have these buyers overwhelming sellers at this level. D, I like a range trade. Yeah, that's really my whole thesis here. But we're taking some of this out at that earlier area that we bounced a couple times. Yeah. That 174.55. Like I said, super short-term long. I just need to get into the habit. Like I said, I know my instincts are definitely not all that, to put it mildly. But I'm trying to learn and trying to get better. And I think the only way that you can do so is to get involved with trades. Because otherwise you're not trading, you're like looking at charts. So there we go. That's what I look at Apple. We're gonna have to see how that goes. We're about 10 pennies in the money. The dime club, as once was a thing here, yeah. The 10-cent club.
They're mocking us.
But yeah, so we're gonna have to see how this goes. I think this is hopefully a nice little look here for Apple. If we retake that 175 again, I'm gonna go short. If we fail that 174, I'm outie. So that's my look here on Tesla.
I want to mention this Apple. Dime club. Like we mock it, but if you're long 100,000 shares on a dime, That's money, 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 money. You know what I mean? And like that's what I think. I don't know. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but if you're going to be a range trader, that's kind of be your modus operandi.
Exactly, right?
Here,
Yeah.
You're going to have to size in, play off the range, right?
No, totally.
Yeah, so I don't think that Dime Club is anything. It's funny because Sean's, dollar club, he's killing it with the dollars. But I think penny clubs could be equally as profitable.
I appreciate that, and I thank you for saying that. I think that's something I'm trying to work towards as well, because I think this this AAPL look, even if we do get some pennies, like I said, I'm aiming for about 30 pennies. I would be pleased as punch. Also, some people were asking about some thoughts on Funware. Sharif did just go over Funware. You can take a look at that there. But also some people asking about Tesla. Renata saying, who hurt Tesla today? And I mean, that's a pretty good question, Renata. We don't, catalyst on this wasn't even, I wouldn't say negative. We had that news coming out of Thailand that they're going to be chatting with, or they have, I guess, been continuously chatting with Thailand with regards to building some production facilities. And that's not reports. That comes from government officials in Thailand. So honestly, not a bad look, but the market not liking this. Tesla down 6.5%. I saw someone in the chat say something to the effect of, did Tesla miss earnings again today? Because I mean, this reaction has been literally the equivalent of that earnings miss.
Earnings do they have, yeah.
Right, I thought that was pretty funny. Chill Vibe saying, Elon hurt Tesla. Yeah, I think lots of people, yeah, this Tesla look is pretty rough. And I think, too, the thing is, I got out of the short too early. We got into that 190.30. I had to say goodbye. But we're making lower highs, lower lows. There could be another short the pop opportunity, which ironically is the lesson of the day. But yeah, I think this, and again, thanks you so much to Neil for his lessons of the day. Always very informative. He is the real deal. We call him that for a reason. And you can see him and Obi drop some hot lines coming up here in a little bit. So yeah, there we go. There's that Tesla look here. Tanner Braun saying, I'm hoping for a double apple bottom jeans for you today. I mean, yeah, I hope so. We do have a bit of a double apple bottom jeans here right now on that Apple chart. Like I said, though, we're only, once it gets past 175, it's going to get a little bit dicey for me. But right now, the double apple bottom jeans looking pretty nice here, too, on this AAPL chart. Shout out to Florida. How are you doing?
Good. We just wet our beak here on some more profits for a whole 13 penny winner. Woo! On this BBAI, we took the break through 454, so it's a rinse and repeat kind of trade. I feel like I'm range trading today, guys, not by design, but I guess by necessity. I don't really like anything on the day. Shout out to Big Kyle Burdett letting me know the bit of a triple top possibly on AMD at that 209 level. Let's have a look at AMD. Now, look, what I see on my 5-minute look is declining highs. So kind of a bit of a double top at 211, and then what you get is a lower high, another lower high, and another lower high through with the most recent lower high being that 209 and 2/3, 209 general 70 area. Why I'm not inclined to short at this level is because we're above VWAP right now on AMD. So unless we come into that exact level, I won't be inclined to short on this name. It's also not my style of trade, seeing that it's up 3 1/5%. Usually I like to get something when they're directionally, when they're on the right direction there. Here we go, new local high here on the future. And we're above VWAP now at 13. So this is 18,320, excuse me, not 13, 18,320. So we made a newer high through the break of that 20 area. So we got up into 25s. So a bit of a newer high here with higher lows. We're still below the IB high. The IB high takes us into that 18, what is this? Okay, sorry, 18,3 1/3. So we're not there yet. We're still definitely within that range, so nothing for me to do here. The ES, though, at day's high, the ES not as weak as the NQ on the day, and I have the ES, let me show you guys on the last chart over here. On the side, so good look for the ES. 51.46 technically is a high day, but that also happens to be the closing print from the overnight high yesterday. So we'll see if we can break through that level. Good look on the ES, but we do have a lesson that we have to begin. I totally forgot about that.
We really quickly have a super chat as well, so I just want to get to this quickly.
Go ahead.
From Volcan, thank you so much for the 20 Swedish kroner super chat. Hey, the best channel. Thank you very much, and hi Volcan. What's your view on Celsius? Let's look at, I accidentally enlarged my chart to an insane degree. Let's look at CELH. Also, I actually had a Celsius for the first time over the weekend, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. So that's just the product, because this is an energy drink company, Celsius Holdings. They had their earnings recently, I do believe, and they gapped. They were gapping up, they were gapping down, they were everywhere. Today they got an outperform rating maintained by Wedbush. Price target increase from 75 to 90. And I mean, this is a pretty nice look. What's interesting too here is we generally have higher lows, higher highs, but look at this. We come around VWAP at this 83 level, we have this wick down, then we have buyers overwhelming the heck out of sellers, and then we continue to fly to the upside. So I really like this wick here of sellers or buyers saying, no you don't, continuing to fly higher. Looks a little bit bull flaggish, honestly, but mostly we just see this kind of upward trend. One thing I'd be curious about though now is it looks like we're having a little bit harder time going higher. We could be seeing a bit of a consolidation, a bit of accumulation around this 85 area. I would like to continue to see higher highs or higher lows. I don't want to assume a frowny face, but it looks like we could be getting a little bit frowny faced here around this 85 area. So I'd be cognizant of that on Celsius. Let me look on the daily chart here on Celsius. Yeah, I mean, like I said, that gap up, wow. We also, though, have fallen from great heights on this name for sure. Like, I think I'm going to have to look up, did they split? 'Cause this looks like it could have been a split situation. Need to find this out. Oh, yeah, 3-for-1 stock split. There you go. So that explains what happened there. That stock split. We actually, you know, since the split, doing pretty well here, continued uptrend, higher highs, higher lows, both in the daily and intraday. Not a bad look, but I would be really cognizant of that 85 level that we're trying to knock on the door of right now.
I like it. All right, yeah, we are pumping up here, man, on Funware. Holy cow. Neil, fun's at almost day's high, by the way. So here we go. $16.80, $17 coming in for Funware. Watch the volatility here, guys, as we come into that high a day. A lot of shorts are going to be coming in, as well as people taking profits. So you're going to be able to see the tape really light up here as we get into those high days. But up 100 and almost 40% now is PHUN, likely as a result of the Donald's domination on the weekend of the primary, widely expected. Tomorrow, though, more primary action as we do have Super Tuesday. And so we could have DWAC and Funware again in play tomorrow and Wednesday as well. So keep your eye out for that. There's always a little bit of the overlap between the macro and some of these small cap gappers. All right, let's get to work. Shorting a pullback in a downtrend, what I should have done on Apple today, and what Neil has done on Apple, shout out to the Neil. Because, you know, it was just very appropriate to do it on a day where you should be doing it. All right, so this strategy involves short selling a stock that is experiencing a temporary price increase, which we call a pullback, within a larger downtrend. So a temporary price increase within a larger downtrend. The underlying assumption, though, during this is that the downtrend will resume, allowing you, obviously, to repurchase the stock at a lower price and profit from the difference. That's how we make money on short selling. Okay, if you're not familiar with the mechanics of how short selling works, a quick YouTube video using the tradertv.live search channel in the homepage will bring you umpteen amount of videos about how the mechanics of short selling works, okay? So why are we short selling these pullbacks? Well, there's obviously the potential for profit. That kind of goes without saying there, baby. If the downtrend resumes, you can buy back the stock at a lower price and pocket the difference. That's how you make money from short selling. But you're also capitalizing on the bearish sentiment. Go with the trend, they say. I don't know who they are, but go with the trends. That's how I like to trade. I like to come on this desk, pretend I'm a momentum trader, and then tell you guys I'm a momentum trader. No, but really, I do like going with the trend. I feel very uncomfortable trying to guess tops and bottoms unless there is something like a very identifiable level. Like, remember 180 on Apple? How many times did that 180 on Apple come in? Remember that 300 on Meta that we kept taking? So seldomly will I get into these counter trend trades. Most of the time, I want to go with the trend, and selling into a pullback on a larger downtrend is going with the trend, even though you're kind of going against the micro trend, which is a move up, all right? So you're capitalizing on bearish sentiment. How to identify these opportunities, though? 3 steps. First step, confirm that the trend on the instrument that you're looking at is actually downward. So you want to look at the daily, you want to look at the weekly, and what you want to see is a general down and to the right price action. You don't have to be at all-time lows. You don't have to be, at a specific level. You just want to see that the larger trend on the instrument you're looking at is a downtrend, okay? So there's multiple ways you can do that. You can look at the price action. You can look at the moving averages. Are the moving averages pointing up or are they pointing down? What else? When there was an uptrend, if there was an uptrend on the name, did you see a reversal pattern at the top of the uptrend, like, for example, a head and shoulders? Also, it could be something as simple as a downward channel with lower highs and lower lows. That will work as well. As long as you can confirm using your own methods that there's a downtrend, that's the first thing here. The second thing is you have to recognize the pullback. So the momentary move up in the price, you have to be able to recognize that. So identify the temporary price increase within the larger downtrend. This pullback often faces lower volume. So what you're looking for within the larger downtrend and that pullback up, you're looking for the pull up, the move back up, or the pullback to be on lower volume than was the average on the move down. So if you looked at the move down and you said, all right, on the average day, this thing did, let's say 5 million shares. And then the average day on the pullback, on the move up, only did 2.5 million shares. That would be your look there. You're looking for the pullback, the move up in the downtrend to be on lower volume than was the move down, okay? So that's number 2. Number 3, you got to figure out your entry point. Where are you going to get in? Where are you going to get out? So considering entering short position at the resistance level. So when you come down in a downtrend, typically when you're pulling back up in the pullback, you're stopping at a key resistance level. So if we were to break down Apple below 180, perhaps we could be looking at 180 now, no longer as a support level, but as a resistance level. So if it was to make its way back into 180, that's where we could have a short sell set up around there, okay? This level could be a previous swing high, it could be a horizontal line on the daily, or it could even be a Fibonacci level if you are using that level. So make sure to look there. I just have to look quickly here at my other trade. Oh baby, we're printing on BBAI, so we'll wet our beak there at 60. So now we've got one more out, 3 outs here on BBI, doing real well on this name as there we go into the mid. Oh, I should have taken that out after, bro. There we go. We're almost at high a day right now on BBI, so I'm pleased this punch. If we can break through this 465 level, we can definitely look to squeeze into 480 on BBI. But when you make a new high on these small cap gappers, you should be looking for a possible new low as quickly as you make the new high, because they don't tend to hang out in that zone of profit taking for all that long. Such is the nature of the small cap gapper. Okay? So you're looking at getting in at a key resistance level in step 3. Now, as important as how to get in and how to identify these short selling opportunities is as important as managing risk. So stop loss placement, absolutely crucial. So you're placing your stop loss a little bit higher than the resistance level. So if you were going to short Apple at 180 on the pop-up, your stop can't be right at that 180. You got to give it some room. How much room? You're going to have to decide on your own using your own techniques. It's also going to have to be influenced by the volatility of the name as well as its average true range. If your ATR on a stock is $3 some odd a day and it's a $10 stock, you got to give it a lot of room. It's an awfully volatile stock. But if it's an $800 name and it's doing plus or minus $3 a day, that isn't much volatility at all. And you can be a bit more conservative with your stop placement. So make sure you are looking into the volatility, the ATR, or whatever other metric you're going to use to judge volatility for the name to influence how far above the support level you place your stop, okay? Can't place it the same for all the names. You're just going to get stopped out and you're going to be frustrated. Let's be frank about it. So stop losses, very important, Ram. Position sizing, also very important. Only allocate a small portion of your capital to this strategy, as short selling carries with it unlimited potential losses. A stock can only go to zero if you're long. It can go to infinity. Well, let's be real. It can go an unlimited amount, really, if you're short. That is the theoretical risk, obviously. The practical risk typically is not like that. But here's what I was going to say to that. So if you are going to, you could have some sort of metric here that suits your own account. If you are going to only use 5% of your account on any one trade, perhaps you can have some sort of rule that says, I only use 2.5% of my account on a short trade, but I'll go as high as 5% on a long trade. Something that works for you. You just have to figure out how to manage risk. Generally, that means taking a bit of a smaller position on the short. That's just what I would suggest there. And remember, some important food for thought, guys. Shorting, super risky because of the unlimited upside potential. However, in general, like with a long trade, the pullback might extend longer than anticipated. So we were looking for that move up on Apple to stop at 180. It could go to 181. It could go 182. You have to recognize when you're wrong. In addition to that, the downtrend may not resume. You may have basically got short at the bottom, right? Because then we could start popping right back up again. And the way to kind of get around this is to do your research on the name. Look at the fundamentals of the name. Look at the macro environment of the name. Like I finished saying the first time around, if you were short a solar stock in 2023, you did so well. Why? Because all we kept hearing from the Fed is higher for longer, higher for longer. If you know anything about solar, you know it's very influenced by the interest rate. The elevated interest rates really hurt these names. So as soon as the market started pricing in possibly 3 to 6 cuts this year, owing to the dot plot that we got in December, what did solar stocks do? They started climbing up. So understand the macroeconomic environment, understand what could turn this stock and help it pump up before you get short. You need to know all these, as many as you can, contingencies to the name before you get short because, again, unlimited upside potential. Hello, Adara.
Hello, Sharif. Thank you very much for going over that lovely informative lesson. A lot of people agreeing with you with regards to the position sizing. One thing I want to say as well is, what example, I mean, take this how you will, but I think what you were talking about as well with regards to where you're going to get in, where you're going to get out. One of the biggest things I've learned here from sitting at this desk is sometimes what makes you enter a trade should maybe be the same thing that gets you out of a trade. And with that in mind, I want to talk about this Tesla situation. So got involved in this because we were generally seeing a higher high, lower highs, lower lows, right? So got involved in this short, accidentally added some of this in here, that's okay. Then I got out where I did at least part of the position because I wanted to go where we had that previous resistance. So getting out at, support. Getting in at resistance, getting out at support. Then my stop was gonna be, where do we make a higher high? That 190.30 area, right? So that's really just one example. And I mean, I'm a very new trader. So of course, I feel like definitely still evolving every day in every trade. But I think that's just one example that I wanted to use with regards to one way that you can kind of set your stop. Like whatever gets you in can also be what gets you out. I also did have this meta situation. This is another example of getting in just at the absolutely wrong moment and getting out at the wrong moment as well. I like this entry because we did have all these failed wicks into that 503 and beyond, and then sellers overwhelming buyers. So this did look like a nice little short here. Then we pop back up. It's okay. We pop out above the area of interest. I leave. So pretty clean area here. I'm not going to complain, but yeah, I think this is it didn't work out. I got out where I needed to get out. That's the story on that. Also, Apple, I did try to flip it and reverse it here. We got into that long. I was pretty happy with this. The plan was to keep a piece of the dream until that 174.80. We didn't get there, so I scalpulated it out. Was noticing on the book we were having a bit of a hard time with 65, so I got out at 174.64. Now, why I reversed to the short, although I will admit I'm a little bit nervous about this, is because we still cannot eclipse that higher high. right? But what I'm noticing now is it looks like we're trying to bounce off the 9 EMA. So we're about 7 pennies in the money here. I'm basically trying to get this out at the same area where I entered the long, so that 174.25, just again, bouncing, ping-ponging off previous support and resistance. That's my style of trading. It's what I'm trying to get better at, which I certainly will concede I am. Definitely not always great at noticing these levels, but I think right now I like how we're going with Apple. I do still think we have a general downtrend with Apple. The only thing that does make me nervous, like I said, is that decent 9 EMA hold here, and also that double bottom at that 174, but we couldn't make a higher high, so I have no reason to complain for right now, or no reason to leave right now. Thank you very much to Thomas Gist. Yeah, wearing some purple for now. We shall see. But yeah, so also AMD getting mentioned here as well. AMD going, where someone said, yeah, AMD is going home, says Chill Vibes. Lower highs here. Yeah, we just made a lower low as well. And that 207 base was a strong look. Some people were saying as well the fact that I think it might have been Kyle Burdett, some other people as well.
It was Kyle Burdett. That's why I started hitting the bangs.
Yeah, saying that because NVDA kept popping and AMD kept dropping. So yeah, that's nice short. Congrats to you. Anybody involved in this. Great look. Yeah, we'll have to see if I get a bite out of the apple now that we flipped from the long to the short. But yeah, pretty pleased this punt is trying to get more adaptable. Like in this trade, we shall see what happens here. And I'm very happy that you were able to get your coveted 175 print on your apple.
Oh, yes, I was. Now I'm salivating at a 170 print, Adara.
Once more.
No, I'm not salivating, guys. I really am not. You'd see it. No, for real though, I'm going to set up dip trades on Apple and on Tesla at every $5. I'm getting in on Apple a lot heavier than I'm getting in on Tesla. And that's just specific to me. It's more nuanced to me. It doesn't have anything to do with the actual stock. I don't like crazy volatility, and Tesla brings you volatility in spades. And if I'm going to size in heavy into a name, I don't want to be on, I don't want to be, you know, kind of anxious all the time. So with Apple, to me, it's obviously a little bit more of a, it's a less volatile trade, is what I'm trying to say here. Very uneloquently. Is that a word? Uneloquently? Or lacks eloquence?
I think it is. I think it's another one of those words that there's different ways you would say it.
Yeah.
Ineloquent? Maybe it's ineloquent.
Ineloquent.
Yeah.
I think it is. Let's find out. We'll look later. And anyway, that's why. So I'm going to DCA into these names. I believe in them in the long-term picture. I think robo-taxis, Optimus, so many different things that Tesla has specific to it that may not be money makers right now are going to be money makers in the future. So this is going to be kind of my long-term build, but that's neither here nor there. Just wanted to let you know that's kind of when I get excited that Tesla and Apple are tanking. That's really why. All right, Funware did its thing there. Ram through the break of 16.5, and then right back down it went. 16.75, right back down it goes through 15 now, putting in lower highs. But there is this upward channel over here that it's maintaining. So this $15 level seems to be coming in over and over again, and it's all in my head. Remember that song? Yeah. Anyway, $15 coming in. It's zigzaggy a little bit, because if you're looking for that consistent upward channel with higher lows and higher highs, you're not really getting it, because you're getting these one-off events like this one over here at around 11.20 through 15.75. This one over here around 12.30. Up to 16.75. So generally you're holding the base, but the top end of the highs a little different from a different area. So we'll be looking at this one here. Maybe we'll get in right here and give it to about 75 or so. I just hate catching this on the bottom. We'll see. We'll see. So this one looking awfully good. OCEA as well looking awfully good as that comes into 350 as well. So OCEA, keep your eye on that one. It's not just BBAI and PHUN. All right, so that's the look there. Anything, and the futures right back at 18.3 as well. So again, decisions to be made. Do we hold up 18.3? I mean, every single dip into 18.3 after 11:30 onward has been bought up. So really interesting. Yes, Nelly and Tim McGraw. Shout out Dan the Man Emmons. He knows what I'm talking about, baby. Big Kyle Burdett. Dump it, baby. What a day to be a shorter. Yes, I know. You are probably pleased as punch, and I'm happy for you, Kyle. Because, what's that, Neil? Yeah, I know. That's what I said. Oh, it's because I said it's all in my head, and then that's the, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyway, we're digressing. Adair, what's up?
Yeah, no, Kyle Burdett also left a super chat here, $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much. In the words of Ric Flair, woo, with like 40 O's. Woo. Yeah, I can't say it right. There you go. I'm familiar with the song Ric Flair Drip and not so much Ric Flair as a person. So.
I like that song.
Yeah, it's a good song.
What's his name again from Migos?
It's Quavo.
Yeah. It's not.
It's not Quavo.
It's Offset.
Offset. Yeah, the one I didn't guess. Yeah, Offset.
It's all good.
And I think 21 is at least in the video. I don't know if he's in the song, but 21 is very much in the video doing nothing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so thank you very much to Kyle Burdett there, and congrats on all of those shorts, because this is such a look here to the downside. Yeah, thank you. I forgot which member of the Migos it was. But yeah, so massive move here. Someone was saying, I think it was Solo Christo asking me for my take on the Cybertruck. Honestly, it's just downside. I'm so sorry. I wish I could give you a better take on this. But really all I'm seeing is down, 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 down on Tesla. There's a little bit of a 9 EMA rejection. I have noticed every time we go up into the 9 EMA, we usually reject. Again, not advice, just kind of what I'm seeing here on the chart. This is on the 5-minute as well with the 9 EMA. We kind of get into that, and then the seller is saying, no, you don't. Keep sending it to the downside. The only thing is, though, there's not really a huge catalyst on this, so it could reverse, right? That's the thing, anything can reverse. But honestly, all I'm seeing right now is down, 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 down for Tesla.
Baby, are you down?
Down, 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 down. Yeah, Tesla would answer yes if you asked Tesla that right now. Tesla would say, heck yes.
Because we're singing, or I don't know, I'm just joking, obviously, right? But yeah, I don't sing that well. I can't speak for you. I'm not going to comment on your singing. I'll just comment on mine. I'm not very good. And I know I'm not very good, but I have a good time.
What matters?
Adara, as we were talking about Funware holding 15, there it goes. Funware 15 holds beautifully. Look at that move up into 16 3/4 within 3 minutes. What a beautiful hold of 15 on Funware. Previous resistance level now acting as support. Does it hold though? Right? So they're giving you multiple opportunities. In addition to 15 being a level, look at this upward looking trend line here. All the lows holding up at, well, for whatever reason, this trend line. Now, the top's a little bit more bamboozling. If you're trying to take the breakouts on this one, you haven't been paid. It's been the dip trades that have paid on Funware off that key support level and then off 15 eventually. So Funware continuing to give opportunities, up 125% today. Neil doesn't like Ric Flair drip. I just messaged Neil. I'm like, he's like, because he wrote in the chat, he's like, did I just hear Ric Flair? And I'm like, there's a song called Ric Flair Drip by Offset, right? And then I guess he listened to it for a couple of minutes, and then he sends me a message. He's like, so this is what they're calling hip hop now?
Yeah, it's not my favorite song ever, Neil. But I like that 21's in the video, so there we go.
Neil, how do you really feel, Neil? Yeah, there we know. Now we know how he feels. Yeah, he's shaking his head. It's okay. Shout out to Big Adam DeLuce singing Arsenal, 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 because Arsenal plays today.
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, sorry, I would just.
It's okay, I just didn't know what was happening there.
You have no idea how many Arsenal songs I have memorized.
Wait, there are Arsenal songs?
Oh my God, each player has their own song,
No.
Adara. Yes, you have to serenade the player. Right when he goes to take a corner, take a free kick, he does a good play, he's serenaded by the crowd. You don't leave him out willy-nilly like that, like a muggle. You gotta serenade him, right? Right?
We brought Harry Potter into this?
We're having a good time, guys. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, crypto comics or nomics or whatever. We're having a good time. We're babbling a little bit. Sorry to disappoint you. Sometimes we do that on the show. Anyway, Funware is at 16 bucks. I think this thing pops up through high a day. It's just a matter of time. It's higher lows on this one, accumulating for that break. Where do we find the top? Well, you're going to have to chart on the daily, but fantastic look today on Funware, and fantastic look on Real, fantastic look on OCEA. A lot of these guys pumping up here, Dara.
Yeah, Darwin's saying we need that for each trader. I guess a theme song for each trader, says Darwin. So that is, yeah, it's pretty funny. I enjoyed that. Everyone here, oh yeah, James Dell saying, come for the stock, stay for the banter. Yeah, we try to give you a little bit of both, right? Keep it a little interesting. Yeah, someone in the chat was saying I gave up that Apple short a bit too early. Maybe I did. We could have gotten a little bit more out of this, but honestly, I'm pretty happy with this. And also, what I'm noticing is, again, that 174 bounce. The thing is that we are now officially making lower highs. So this could be a, you know what, flat bottom break. So we're going to wait and see on this, but definitely the lower highs coming in. I would continue shorting this, but I don't want to go long this again right now. I was happy with that long I had. Please just punch. Arguably my most successful trade of the day, but I don't want to mess with that. Also, you know what's getting kind of rangy here is Google, or Google, as Obi might sometimes say. And I like this. I'm getting involved in this because, look, we have this super tight range. We have that 9 EMA bounce here at the 132.65. Then we come up to 132.80. This is super tight. This range is teeny tiny, but you know, as you said, if I'm going to be a range scalp trader, you do have to get sometimes used to pennies, and that's the type of style I'm trying to cultivate, so I'm okay with that. If we break above this 132.95, so we're going to give this about 10 cents. Also, why I like that level is look at where we had that earlier flat bottom break in Google. I see it, I like it, I want to be involved. Or at least I want to be like not involved by that point. So there we go. That's what we're going to do. I have this could have been a bit premature here. We could actually be curling up here on Google, but I liked it on the 3-minute as well, and I'll pull up the 3-minute here. 3-minute, again, kind of giving me that idea that we do have this kind of chop and churn. Although now, you know, we're kind of getting to my point of entry. This might have been a little bit premature, a little bit too hasty, but we're going to have to see what happens here. Meta, once again, part of my theory of I get into a stock and then I get out and it does the thing I needed it to do. Now, Meta getting short here off that 502.50 area. Again, I did like this point of entry at the time because we had all these wicks here that we had sellers overwhelming buyers. And then, of course, I get in and they're like, oh, haha, buyers are in now. It's okay. We got above where we needed to get out. That's cool. Meta now curling back to the downside. Some of the shorts sliding into Meta's DMs as of right now. Microsoft, an interesting one, too. I was briefly involved in this earlier. I know Neil was involved in this quite a bit. This one curling to the downside. I need to zoom in on this chart, get a better feel for it. But this could be kind of a tasty short here because we did have that move into 416. Almost 416.50, and as Neil said, Microsoft is having a really hard time with that 416 area. Now it looks like we're curling down. I do not want to be premature in this, but I think the short could get a little bit spicy, a little bit interesting here. Tesla continuing to fall to the downside. Yeah, B. Davis said Google stair-stepping up. Yeah, I think it could be, but honestly, I think the thing is, too, is right now what I'm seeing as well is, A, we have a little bit of trouble. I'm going to switch back to my 5 for this. We're having a little bit of trouble as well. I think we might have some resistance from that 133 area, right? To me, that's a clear area of resistance on Google. Also, I'm just seeing at least a little bit for right now. We had a really hard time with that 132.60. Again, this is not going to be like, I like to be a bit rangier, right? I think Google could theoretically still stair step up, but also I see this, and I think if I can get a bit of a scalp out of here, I'm going to. You know what I mean? I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to get a little bit better at taking advantage of opportunities. Now, will the opportunities always come to fruition? Often I found they have not, but I want to be able to like get in when I see things. Right now, I'm seeing a really short-term range opportunity here on GOOGL, though I wouldn't disagree. I think it could potentially curl back up here, and that's why I said I have a super tight stop. If we get into that 133, I'm leaving. So yeah, I definitely do not disagree there on Google, potentially B. Davis. I'm just trying to take this as a quick scalp look. Thank you very much, Ben Janender. Much appreciated there. Also, yeah, Bears versus Bulls saying, thank you for the concerns for Adara and her voice. Thank you. I say thank you as well. It's not feeling too bad. Thank you very much, Bears versus Bulls. World's best moderator, as we say over here. Always killing it, and always much appreciated. Yeah, right now just hanging out in Google.
Do you notice how like Cal Canis kind of sucks up to David Sachs a little bit? Like,
a little
what's
bit.
up with that, bro? Like,
a little bit, yeah.
No, you're overcompensating a little bit. I never really understood that. And it's like he always like wants to call him out. Hey, Sachs, what do you think about this? Hey, Sachs, don't you like that?
Boy,
like, bro, like take it easy. Like you don't need his approval for everything. But anyway, yeah, the reason I'm talking about that is because Bears versus Bulls is the world's greatest moderator. Shout out to him.
There we go. Thank you so
we
much.
just popped up aggressively into 16.5 on Funware, and then right back down we go through 15.5, trying to hold 15. We've been talking about this 15 level as an interesting level. I'm going to go ahead and sit at 15.05 because what is life without whimsy? And we'll see if we can get that print and pop back up. That would be nice because it was a multiple rinse and repeat off that level. If we give up the ghost on 15, I'll get out at 14.5. I'm going to have to give it some room. But this one, a lot of volatility on this name coming in today on Funware. The other one that we have here is BBAI. It's holding above the $0.5. The best print we have on it so far is in that 459 area, but really nothing to write home about on this name. We'll need to do a lot better on that one for that one to continue to run. But this is what I've been having my eye on the entire morning. It has been 18.3, thinking that we'd fail or hold, and it's been a zigzag up and down, up and down. So I don't want to get involved in that futures trade if that's how we're going to trade, because this is a recipe to get cut up. I'm not a breakout trader, a range trader, and when you're in a tight range like this is not where I flourish, so I don't want to punch in and then end up getting the short end of that stake. But every time it comes into 18.3, excuse me, and holds, I keep getting these this renewed sense that, okay, well, we're going to hold this level, maybe trend up, and that hasn't been the case, so I should stop feeling that way. In any event, keeping my eye on it for when and if it does hold. So we'll keep watching that. The other trade, let's look at Funware real quick. Didn't get that dip trade at 15 quite yet, but maybe that'll come in. 15 to third right now. Seems to be a buyer in that general vicinity because it's not breaking down below there for very long anyway. So continuing to watch out. What else we got here? OCEA, is it doing anything? Yeah, OCA is looking real good right now, to be honest with you. Yeah, so here, let's bring in the side chart, talk a little bit about OCEA. The reason it's looking good is because holding above VWAP. So if you watch these ones, if you watch me trade these ones, you know I have two rules. Definable pre-market high that it broke through after 9:30 and it's trading above VWAP. This one's got both. So there's the definable pre-market high at that 309, 310 area. We break through that easily at around 1040 or so. So we check that box. And we're also above VWAP. VWAP's trading at 310. This is trading at 330 right now. And every single dip after basically, what time? 11:30, 11:25, every single dip has been bought off VWAP. It's also making that upward channel, higher lows, higher highs. So multiple check marks beside this name. It's also done a fair bit of volume, 41 million shares. Again, it's a $3 name, but it's giving you ample amounts of liquidity on OCEA at the moment. It seems like it's basing out at 330. So we're going to continue to watch this, see if we can bamboozle a trade on this name. It's been more of a small cap day for me today. Haven't been involved in the large caps quite yet. So we'll continue to watch, see if we can get a trade anywhere we can, because today it's been a little bit light for me, Adara.
Yeah, no, I think honestly though, like as someone who traded a little bit more and mostly got chopped up here, it's definitely been a bit of a trickier day. Congrats on those small cap moves, and I love where you have the little toe dipper there in yes, fun if it gets into that area.
Hopefully, yeah.
Because yeah, no, it's a really nice look, and it looks like it's a good fun time in Funware.
Yeah. Did you see this super chat?
I did, yeah, sorry, I meant to call this out. Thank you so much.
All good.
Easy for all shoppers. Thank you very much for the $4.99 super chat. Much appreciated. I'm living the life, getting great info to make better trades, and laughing my butt off. I'm gonna say that. Thanks, guys. Prayer hand emoji. Thank you so much, Easy for all shoppers. We really appreciate the support. We're happy that you guys are having fun here because we try to bring some fun. Literally, Sherry's bringing fun right now in that Funware. We're trying to bring some fun and some knowledge all wrapped into one. So very much appreciated, and thank you very much for letting us know.
Here we go. I got the fill on Funware 15 in. Okay, let me cover this because this could absolutely dip. I'm gonna have to flatten. This is coming down. So if it breaks a little bit more below 3/4, I'm gonna have to get out here. I'm gonna send it to you. Yep, that's it. I'm out there. It breaks 1450. We lose. Yeah, thankfully I had small size, but we ended up losing a little bit here. Now we're negative on the day. Sorry, the way it is. It's the way it is.
Yeah, this Monday it was it was a fun day. Now it's it's just a normal Monday. But also I have to point out this where is this? Stay-at-home dad saying, when in doubt, short Tesla. Today, that has not been a bad plan at all. I had some, bit of a mixed plan in Tesla. I tried to short this the one time the short wasn't working earlier. Then I went long briefly, and that actually not too bad of a trade. But then, yeah, we finally had the nice short, got out too early. This one continues to flush. Shout out to, I think, CopX or X involved in this. I think maybe also Kyle Burdett, lots of different people in the chat involved in this stock. But I think, yeah, this Tesla move, we do see a little bit of a bounce potentially at that 187 20 area. Like I was saying earlier, this could always reverse, right? But you don't want to expect a reversal. You want to be prepared and limber and see what the stock does. Right now, though, generally, with the exception of these last couple candles, on the 5-minute chart, it's been a pretty solid 9 EMA rejection. So given that the lesson today is shorting the pop, I think certainly Tesla listened and was like, I will give you guys some textbook examples. So that is the look here on TSLA. Also, Apple, I really should have gotten back involved in this short. Because, wow, I liked, we had the long here earlier, just back into that, just shy of 175, getting it short back off there. Then we bounce, and we're continuing to see lower highs. This to me looks like we could have a bit of what Sharif calls the flat bottom breaks, because that is, yeah, quite the look here. I'd like to see what we do here at that 174, but we are knocking on the door of 174 with the viciousness here as well. The Shim King mentioning Rivian. Let's look at RIVN. We talked a lot about, we talked ad nauseum about Tesla, one of the main EVs running here today, but not a lot, or I guess running to the downside, but not a lot about RIVN. So let's see what we have going on here. Is there any news on Rivian? I'm not seeing anything. Apparently, there was an R1T making a 3,200 mile journey. Yeah, that's just don't think that would really be what's moving the stock here. But I like that generally we're having lower highs and lower lows. A little bit stagnant here around VWAP. This actually could get a little bit rangy, something that I could potentially be into here. I like that we have this base around that 1072 area, which is also where we popped into earlier. I like that we could have a bit of a top here at 1085, but could continue to curl up. I don't think it's a bad look at all here in Rivian. Did look a little bit like it could have been a bear flag, but we're kind of curling higher now. So that's my take on Rivian. I do think it seems like it might want a little bit of a move up here, but again, like we're talking like about a 20 penny move. So bit of a smaller mover, but a nice look here in Rivian, a nice change of pace from Tesla's massive fall to the downside. Though, like I said as well, Tesla looks like it might be trying to recover just a skosh on that 5 chart. Also, another one I want to talk about too, a lot of people mentioning Mara.
Oh,
so let's look at
doing?
Mara, because some people were saying moving opposite to how the BTC is going.
Is.
Whew.
Crap.
Yeah, we have a little bit, I like this, I like support resistance areas. The 2780 area was interesting earlier. We definitely had a double top with a slightly lower high on that 2920 area. Then we fall to the downside with a viciousness. Much like Tesla, we have these rejections off the 9 EMA. Interesting look, like I said, usually though, with these coin or crypto adjacent names, I'm really gonna look at what they're doing with Bitcoin, but it doesn't even seem like Mara is respecting Mother Bitcoin at all right now. So it makes it a little bit trickier. Yeah, very much a move to the downside here on Mara. Could be an interesting short, but the levels here on this are kind of tricky, especially because apparently it no longer listens to Bitcoin. So what, or at least not for now. So what a look here on MARA. Lots of weakness here on this one. And it looks like it's about 101, so I guess we could be getting into the lesson soon. How's the NQ trade going?
It's okay. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, we're long at 05s. So we're looking to defend that 18.3. If it doesn't defend 18.3, we'll be out.
There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna just pull up the notes here.
Oh, yep. Okay, I can take care of while you're setting up.
Yeah, Apple on its way back down to lows, guys. Completely the opposite from this NVIDIA trade. New high of day on NVIDIA. $868 exactly. Forget about that now. It's $868.25. The rocket chip, aka NVDA, continues to print. It's really a matter of time and when we see 900, when we see 1,000. Sometimes I get disappointed in myself because I always criticize the sick human compulsion to want to get everything on sale, yet I'm not buying NVIDIA at these levels. So a little bit of a frustrating look. What's your look over there?
So the lesson is ready. 2 quick notes though. Apple did flat bottom break below that 174, so congrats to anybody involved in that.
Okay.
My second note here as well, someone was mentioning Rivian, the R2 coming out this week. Yes, so as far as I've seen, R2 set to be released on March 7th. So something else to keep in mind with regards to RIVN. Now let's talk about shorting a pullback in a downtrend. And Apple and Tesla both giving you ample opportunities for that earlier today. So basically, this strategy involves short selling a stock that is experiencing a temporary relief or a temporary price increase within a downtrend. So basically, the assumption that that underlies this idea is that the downtrend will resume, and so this will allow you to repurchase the shares at a lower price later and profit from the difference. So instead of buying low, or I guess selling low and buying lower, you're going to be selling slightly higher and buying a little bit lower. So that's kind of the look. It's a little bit harder to say that when you're short selling, but yeah, you know what I mean. Getting a little bit of a higher price for it so that you can benefit a little bit when we see that pullback. Gotcha. But why do you short sell pullbacks? Well, you do so because there's a potential for profit. If the downtrend resumes, you can buy back the stock at a lower price and pocket the difference. Also, it capitalizes on bearish sentiment. So the strategy aligns with the existing downward trend and bearish market sentiment. So by that I mean, if we're already in a downtrend, it might make more sense, again, if all the stars align and you see a lot of confluence for this movement, to short sell and to continue to profit on the bearish sentiment, rather than trying to go long when that stock's in a bear market, right? So that's just kind of the context in that. Bearish sentiment just means like on the basis of that one asset. How to identify opportunities? Step 1. Downtrend confirmation. You're going to want to look for indicators and chart patterns that confirm a downtrend. So some of these could include moving averages sloping downwards, head and shoulders patterns, consistent lower highs and lows. And again, that's really going to depend on the asset. It's going to depend on the person because other people are going to be looking for different indicators. But yeah, just make sure that whatever you look at is all aligning and makes sense for you. So now let's also look here. Why do you want to sell? Oh yeah, sorry, I'm on the wrong thing here. Pullback recognition. So you want to identify a temporary price increase within the downtrend, and this pullback will often face lower trading volume compared to the preceding downtrend. Also think about your entry point. So you consider entering the short position near the resistance level when the pullback is likely to stall and the downtrend may resume. This level could be a previous swing high, a horizontal line representing past resistance, a key Fibonacci retracement level. So lots of different things you can be looking for when you're considering your entry point considerations. One thing I want to note, though, that I said when we did this lesson the second time, as Sharif said, you know, sometimes the thing that gets you into the trade can also be the thing that gets you out of the trade. So that's worth noting when you think about entry point considerations. And also plays into managing risk.
Can we just go back one quick sec,
yes,
if that's all right? With respect to if we can go to point number 2, pullback recognition, with respect to the resistance level. Remember, we were that 180 level on Apple, for example, right? So I just really wanted to make that point. So when we're looking for that pullback recognition, we're looking for it to come in to that key resistance level that we're looking at.
And then reject.
Number 2, when we put our stop on step number 3, Adara, we want to place it a smidge above that key resistance level. So if it was 180 on Apple, we're putting it 180 and a third, you know, something like that.
Give it some room to run. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you so much. But yeah, so managing risk. Yeah, stop loss placement. As Sharif says, you might want to give this one a little bit of room to go, especially if you're talking about a Tesla or an NVIDIA or an Apple, where they do get a little bit crazy and heated. So you might want to give them like 10, 20 cents. You know what I mean? Give it some space. But again, use your own parameters. Don't use just what we're saying here, right? Think about it if it makes sense. As you said, that Apple 180 is a massive level. So if you're going to get involved in a short around there, you're going to really want to be cognizant of that when you get involved. Also, yes, basically, if you place your stop order above the resistance level, you can automatically exit your position if the price unexpectedly rises, and that can limit potential losses. Position sizing also really important to note here, because you shouldn't allocate too much of your position to this strategy, as it can be a little bit risky because short selling can carry unlimited potential losses, even more so than going long. So definitely be cognizant of that if you're going to get involved there. Thorough research is also, Okay, there we go. Remember, the strategy is risky, as we said, and it's not guaranteed to be profitable. The pullback could extend longer than anticipated, or the downtrend might not resume, right? And so that's why timing of this is really key. And also stop losses, as Sharif said, identifying that previous area of resistance and putting your stop around there can be important.
I make one quick point that I forgot to put last time? So, Adara, you've always heard me say the trade is still valid. The trade is still valid. So in this case, for example, if we had gotten short on that key resistance level, let's just use the Apple 180 example again. Apple makes its way back into 180, let's say from 177, but then it keeps going and makes a higher high and a higher low. Then what do I know? I know that I'm no longer in the trade that I thought I was in. The trade is no longer valid. We have a higher high, we have a higher low. This could be an indication of a trend change. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so just because it breaks above the level, right? That's why we give our stop a little bit of room, right? But if we're going to start seeing higher highs and higher lows, that's it. Forget about it.
Then it's
right?
going to be reversing long,
yeah.
Thank you for putting that out there. Yeah, so basically just being aware of not just the levels, but also like what is the pattern telling you? What are the other indicators you're looking at telling you? Is the MA tilting up? Are things moving in different directions that suggest a different trend than what you initially signed up for? Are you saying this isn't what I wanted? And then you might have to leave based on all these indicators. But make sure that you're always being cognizant of the ever-changing risks that are omnipresent when one-day trades. Thorough research is also very crucial. You want to look at the company's fundamentals, the market conditions, and other potential factors that could disrupt the downtrend. Always really important to be aware of. Also, you might want to look at what are the Qs doing? What is the SPY doing? What are these other indicators doing? Are they moving in funky, weird directions that might upset my trade? So just always be aware of all the other factors in addition to what your trade is doing.
And I want to add one more thing to that. Do that thorough research. Why we're trading on a technical basis? Why would I want to look at anything fundamentally? Well, because the fundamentals have a way of obviously influencing the technicals. The example that I keep using is solar stocks. 2023. Look at what the solar stocks did in 2023. They didn't do that in isolation. They did that for a reason, because interest rates were going higher, and all we kept hearing from the Fed is higher for longer. If you understand the solar sector, you know that it's so interest rate dependent because the startup costs are so high. So you're going to have to take on debt to start it up. If you're going to take on debt with a high interest rate, it's going to eat into your margins. Therefore, it is basically an interest rate sensitive sector. So if I'm looking at the trade, I have to be cognizant of the fact that if I'm in a solar stock on a trade, I have to be cognizant that they are interest rate sensitive. So I'm trying to swing Enphase, Solar Edge, CSIQ, whatever, Nova, Sunrun, whatever it's going to be, and I start hearing interest rate talk from the Fed, I need to be cognizant of this trade. So understand what sector you're trading, what influences affect that specific sector, and then make your decision accordingly. A lot of times we always say, because Michael Moss always really pumps this into us, technicals, 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 don't worry about the fundamentals. And I respect that. I get all that. But at the same time, I like to diversify a little bit and understand what's going on. Not always just from a technical sense, what's the price telling me, this, that, and the other. I get that. But that's all I wanted to say there. Thank you for letting me yap a little bit there.
Thank you. Giving more context, right? I think, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right, let's talk a little bit about these trades over here. So I got a little bit of revenge on Funware. Was able to, get a little bit of a nice long at 15, wet my beak there at 15.55, but that's more of a revenge trade, and I wouldn't suggest you do it. But it's still putting in higher highs and higher lows. If I was to try to trade this one, I think I would try to trade it, but not with the current size. I mean, you need to take size on a $15 name, and it's just too volatile at the moment. So I think I'm going to leave this one. This one is one I'm really proud of. BBAI. I added at the right parts. You always want to think that you got out at the right area, and then when it breaks above that high, you always feel a little bit dumb. The reason I got out at 465 owes to this crest over here. We topped out at 465 originally, so I definitely wanted to de-risk the majority of the position in front of 465. The problem with that is I had already de-risked a little bit over here and didn't have any more once it broke through that level. So now it looks like it wants to test that 480, 475-ish area. So we'll have to give up 10 pennies on that name, but I'm pleased as punch with this trade, having waited a little bit to recoup. Well, not recoup, but to actually print the money on this. I was never negative on this name. Here comes 475, up 36, almost 40% now. Goes BBAI. I never gave you guys any of the deets on BBAI. Let me find it what they are here. So market cap, larger-ish, $746 million, so about 3/4 of a billy. The float, a little bit on the larger side as well, not too big, 41 1/3 million shares. Let's see what the short float is. Let's bring in trade ideas and shout out the NOS boss and his crew over there. BBAI, Big Bear AI. Good amount of short float there. This could squeeze, guys, 20% or thereabouts of the 50. This one says 51 million shares. I see 41 on mine. In any event, about 20% of the float is shorted, 19.54%. That could
possibly lead into a good short squeeze there, depending on where the shorts have instituted their positions. Now, with respect to that futures trade that we were looking at earlier, we were looking at 18.3, and I can't tell you how many times the price action has crossed 18.3 today. It's probably crossed that specific level more than it's crossed any other level. So much is the churn at the 100-point level. We're still down 0.5% on the day on the NQ. That isn't really the case on the ES. We're flat on the ES. We're down an equal amount on the Dow, but 0.25%. But you wouldn't know it if you looked at the Russell, because the Russell's up 0.5%. We saw Adara trading IWM earlier. It's not the same on these exchanges today. And right back into 18.3 we go on the NQ. The MNQ is what I'm trading. So a lot of churn on this name. And it's looking awfully similar to a range trade where you're getting in long in and around that 18.3. You might be about 5 or 6 points lower, and then you're getting out, say, 10, 15 points max from that 18.3 level. If you've been able to do that, and I was able to do that once here, added originally over here, got in on the dip trade to defend 18.3, and then we got everything at 18.312. It's not giving me that opportunity on the day. If it breaks down, I'll like it more than if it ranges. I know Adara loves the ranges, and we have our traders in there in the chat that love the ranges as well. And I got all that, but to me, I just don't thrive in these range environments. And so even I'll take a breakdown right now. So much of my, desiring direction on these names, Adara. AMD, we were talking about this one earlier in the possible triple top. Or not triple top, but essentially lower high, lower high, lower high. And then we got a decided break of VWAP. We do hold up at a random level. Let's be real about it. 206.5 was nothing that I charted over here. Nothing that I see has a significance on the day. Maybe it goes back to the previous day. This 206.5 level that we held up at, right back into 207.5 we go, but still south of VWAP at that 208 level. So continuing to watch that. BBI at highs, and Funware doing the dance above 15 right now, but awfully volatile is this name. I've got nothing else. What are people saying here? The Shim King. The Shim, you should change your name to the Shimmy Wick Dance.
I like that.
Kidding. Shout out to the Shimmy King. Tesla short covered, he says, or they say. And then Rivian about to go. Haven't looked at any of those names today, but all I see is red in EV land, baby. Rivian down 4 1/3. Lucid down 6 2/3. Polestar down 8.5. Even Fisker holding on to Dealer Life down 1 2/3. And obviously, we saw what Tesla's doing today. 7% Adara. Red is TSLA. No, there was no earnings. No, there was no price cuts. No, there was nothing of anything.
Except for the positive news about Thailand.
How many different gigafactories have we heard are going to be built around the world? South of Spain, I've heard India, right? Like, how many different places does this dude want to build gigafactories? But look, I think, obviously believe in him and the company, so you got to build them out sometime.
Yeah, right now the matte covering on the Cybertruck is blood red. Very much downside move there for TSLA. Also, I want to mention this. TJ, thank you so much for the super chat. I don't see a message in this one, but I saw earlier here you were asking about Intel. So yeah, I'll totally pull that up for you. Thank you very much for the 279 super chat. So Intel, super bull flaggish to me, but again, caveats, not everything resolves the way you think it's going to, right? And also, not advice, just my take on the chart. However, I do think that we have this massive move up here. We have this consolidation, this chop and churn here, kind of doing the shimmy wick dance, I guess, although I know that's usually reserved for the futures, around this 9 EMA. We're kind of popping around here from that 46 area to like 46.30. So this is a super tight range. It's a little bit too tight for me to even have much wiggle room here. But I do kind of like what's happening here. We're certainly ready to have some kind of pop up, I think. But again, we would be patient. Like we were saying earlier as well, make sure that you're really cognizant of previous resistance and support levels when setting your stop. So maybe if you're going long here, and again, not advice, just what we're seeing here, what I'm seeing here, maybe you want to set your stop a little bit below the bottom of this range, you know what I mean? Or if you're going to go short here because you think it'll break down for some reason, maybe you want to set your stop at the top of the range, right? So just kind of being aware and using the signals that the market is giving you and that the stock is giving you to make sure that you're setting risk management adequately. However, also someone in the chat here, let me see who was saying this. Oh yeah, Darwin saying that there was a CNBC pump for Intel. I did find this. Steve Weiss announcing that he bought Intel and ASML on CNBC, so that could be what's moving Intel very much to the upside. B. Davis mentioning my Google short scalp. I totally missed. Yeah, I ended up missing the proper scalp opportunities because I got out. We got into that 133 and I got out. It did end up being short, but again, my point of entry here wasn't great. However, then I forgot to cancel my order for where I was going to get out at the short, so we ended up getting long here. I got out basically the second I got in, or since the second I realized I was in, because if you fat finger, you generally don't want to wait around, right, to get your hand like chopped off here. So I decided not to. Happy this worked out. Ironically, the fat fingered remnant of the Google trade went better than the initial planned short, but you know what? That's okay. Really, you know it's rough when the fat finger trades are turning out better than the planned trades, but that's what learning's all about. That's why we're here at How to Trade. Although you can also get lots of really cool stuff from Obi and Neil, normally Sean and Neil, but Obi and Neil, Obi killing it today as well. You're going to see him and Neil back here around 120, and I believe he was in the Cybertruck earlier as well, so he may have some takes on that. Tesla looking like it might reverse a little bit. I always find it interesting when we go from bouncing off the 90 EMA on a short basis to potentially bouncing off it on the long, but there's not really enough evidence for me to say that. Definitely right now, I think we could be reversing. We'll have to wait and see.
Obi just told me he got into an accident in the Cybertruck, and the first thing that came to my mind was the poor soul who you hit into. Yeah. Right? Because, I mean, can you imagine that thing hitting into somebody? Say that again. No, I know it's what you're saying, but that's, yeah. Can you imagine, somebody get hit by that thing?
Be like,
number one, the weight of that truck is ridiculous because of the battery. Number two, it's bulletproof, and that's gonna probably do some damage to flesh and bones and stuff. Right. 870 HOD.
Oh my.
On NVDA. I saw you, Adam. Adam calling 187 support on TSLA. He's calling up the top right now on NVDA. Shout out to big Adam DeLuce. I happen to agree with him on that 187 look on TSLA. Down aggressively on the day, 7 1/5 right now. So we're going to wait for this one to start curling back up and getting on the back end, as my friend Neil likes to say. Look, this one's been hugging, and I really do mean hugging, that 10 EMA on the 5. The 10 EMA is the green, and we were basically straddling it all morning from the south side. Now we're getting this a few 5-minute candles here that are printing, albeit marginally higher than the 10 EMA. Is this the start of something new where we start getting a bit of a mean reversion trade here on TSLA, where we start possibly curling in to view up 191.5, maybe support level 2s, even though I think that that's a little ambitious because that takes us into 196 or so. That will have to be almost a $10 move from where we are. But TSLA, it's been a rinse and repeat short. You're not going to catch me long on this one until it does something distinctly different. Shout out to the Ob, the one, the Canob. But yeah, this has been interesting right now, hugging magnetically that 10 EMA from the downside is TSLA. We'll continue to watch that. Apple also at day's lows as it basically straddles the low of the day at 173.79. It's below 174. All the technical levels yelling, sell me right now on AAPL. It's been a bit of a tougher look, but good for those who want to get in. And Amazon, almost a U-shaped retracement here. Very unusual move. Can tell somebody was waiting with a market on open order there on the Amazonian right at 930 because it took it up from 177.5 and rocketed up to 180 within 2 5-minute candles. Since that time, we did the wick shimmy dance from the south side of 180, so it was a screaming short at that level, and then it didn't even hold up at VWAP. It didn't even hold up at support or resistance level 1 on the pivots. It didn't even hold up at Friday's close at 178 1/5. It is now negative on the day. Amazon on the way down. Let's see what it does at pivots at that 177.5. That's about
10 pennies higher than the actual technical low on the day, which is 177.49. The Amazon on the way down, big sell-off after that big move up right at the bell there. Oh, wow, NVIDIA finally with a... Say that again? The Knob is like Bezos is probably selling more. He may have a couple of yachts he hasn't bought yet, Adara, right? Like, let's be kind to the man.
Yeah.
He needs a few more.
He needs to have, you know, Brendan and Sean were joking on the last week's podcast saying that his dog may also need a yacht. So you know what, like, who knows?
His dog deserves a yacht.
I think every pet deserves a yacht. Yeah. I think like if he has like grand dogs, like I don't know, dogs have grandchildren, you can get those dogs a yacht. Get everybody a yacht. Instead of Oprah, you get a whatever, you get a whatever. That's Jeff Bezos with yachts.
I love yachts. I don't have any yachts, nor will I ever have any yachts, but I can look at Bezos. Guys, coin, I hear you guys seeing coin. I hear it. I see it. Coin HOD, $299.96, essentially $230. Coinbase, absolutely rocketing up on the new highs that Bitcoin is up to. Bitcoin is up 6% today, guys. 66,561. Neil, how close is that to all-time highs? What was it, 69? Hold on, bro. I think it was 69 and change. Wait, because my chart is acting a fool at the moment. Okay, so technically, Neil, it's 68,967. That is the all-time high, 68,009. That's in US dollars. Obviously, we know that Bitcoin has different prices depending on the currency, but what I see was on the week of November 8th, 2021, it hit a high of 68,967. So top VOIP is telling me BTC up 4.65, not 6. Okay, and this is an issue we've had before. It really depends on when your BTC day started. I've got it up on my chart right here. I'm looking right at it. It's up 6.03%. I think the time that my brokerage starts the Bitcoin trading day might be a little bit different than yours, and I've seen this in the past where somebody has a different percentage than what I have, and that's normal around here. That's fine, but it's up generally 6% for whatever day. Anyway, we all know the price is. Guys, we just tanked on the future, giving up 18.3 in a hurry. And we dipped all the way down into 18.270. Now, it seems to be like a random level, but when we look at pivots and exclude the pre-market action, which is what I've done on this chart. So this specific NQ chart starts at 9:30, 8:30 Chicago time, and we're bouncing off the 18.270, but that also happens to be where my pivot point is on that chart. So we'll have to wait and see whether this is actually a level off which we're going to find support on the NQ, dipping down into this level, giving up 18.3. So big move down on the future, and then we obviously had that big move down on some of the big cap names as well. You had a big, nice flush there on NVIDIA from that essentially 870 top, and it dipped all the way back down to 862. Adam, want to rent a yacht one day? Adam, look, I'm probably going to come watch Arsenal next year, probably in August, September. If I do, I'm going to give you a shout. If you're in London, we'll hang out. Maybe we'll rent a yacht on go on the, what's it called, that river in London? The river, the something Thames? Something.
Thames, yeah.
The Thames, yeah, the River Thames. Is Thames?
Thames.
Thames.
It's spelled like Thames, but it's pronounced like Thames.
River, we're going to find out.
Thames.
River, London River. Just put in London River.
It's pronounced like Thames.
Oh, boy. The River Thames. Thames.
Yeah, but it's pronounced like Thames, yeah.
Okay, River Thames.
Like it's spelled TH.
Shout out to Adam.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry there, getting a little, my bad there on the pronunciation. Also, I'm astonished to say I am fairly happy in the trade I'm in today. No, I'm joking. But yeah, I mean, I am happy though. So what I did was, I was noticing we have this downtrend on Meta, and yet I went long, but I'll explain why. I like that we had these lower highs, but it's also been fairly predictable. We kind of continuously wick into that 502.50 area. So that's where I have my stop or my out just shy of that 502.50. I want to see what we do at that 501. If we get into 501, I'm getting out, but we've been bouncing really well off that 501.50. So I'm pretty happy with the position for now. Taking our time, mind you, but certainly curling our way up. So we're going to have to see here. Hans Beer saying that it is Thames.
Got it.
So is Adam. Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy. Oh, I had no idea.
Hold on. Thames, yeah. Even Adam wrote it. T-E-M-S, Thames. Yeah, you think you're right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because I was not fully aware. So happy that because I thought it was, but then it was like that sounds a little French. But yeah, happy it worked out. Regardless, either way, Meta in this river to the downside here, flow into the downside downstream. But if we can get this pop up, I would be pretty happy with that. So set up here, ready to see how this one's gonna go, and let's see what we see. Let's see what else is happening here as well on this market.
We're right at 15 again at Fund, by the way. For anybody interested in Fund, we're right back at that recyclable level, $15. How many times have we been there, Adara?
So much,
So like we were joking about that that level. What was it on? I kept saying this was 18.3, the most intersected level on the futures. 15 seems to be like the most intersected level right now on PHUN as it's now making lower highs. But the thing is, it's a bit of a compression pattern. Once you zoom out a little bit and look at the 5, like here's the example that I want to show on this name. Funware. So it's a bit of a compression where you're getting these lower highs obviously are very well noted, but we're above VWAP, we're above the pre-market high, and we also have these higher lows. We still haven't really printed a distinct lower low, and here we come though. So we may do it right now. So the low of this candle over here that I'm looking at 12.55 took us all the way to 14.30. We're at 14.40 right now. So look into 14 possibly where VWAP is. And I think that would be a better level. If you want to get into Funware, it would be this $14 level. The reason is you have an intersection of two important things. You have VWAP and you have the whole dollar level. So I like when those 2 points intersect, but that would mean the breaking of this 14, the third low, and that would bring its own considerations now that you're printing not just lower highs, but lower lows. So Darren and I always talk about the balance of the evidence thing where you're looking at things that can show you, okay, well, it may bounce on this level, and then things that are showing you, well, no, it may break down below this level. So the fact that it's making lower lows makes me concerned about the breaking of the $14 level, but the fact that it's above VWAP makes me feel it may bounce up above VWAP. We're gonna find out right now. Here comes 14.05, here comes, and there goes 14. Do we bounce now off this level? There is a bit of a space between 14 and VWAP. PHUN providing you ample opportunity today in terms of volatility. Let's watch this one on the trading screen as this could become a tradable name. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, that fun is certainly, like we said, lots of fun to be had there. Monday fun day. Yeah, sorry, I'm going to keep repeating myself at this point. But yeah, this Meta, speaking of balance of the evidence, I was actually, appreciate that you used that because it kind of reminded me I need to keep this in mind with this Meta situation. Now, this in general, we actually are still around my point of entry. So we are exactly flat, $0, in this right now. But also, part of me is nervous because we have these failed wicks of buying into this 502 that are overwhelmed by sellers. Then the other part of me is like, Adara, that was your whole thesis for entering the short here, and yet that ended up trading out long as well. Same with all these other experiences where we have wicks, it looks like it's going to be one direction and it ends up flipping to the other. So I want to be cognizant of that. Also, like I said, I don't see this as a long-term long, and I say that because we do still have lower highs. Really, the plan is to take this into that 502.50. I'm realizing now, though, that I might be giving this a little too much wiggle room. I might need to get out part of this out at 502. But right now, I'd like to see that decisive break above that 501.50, because right now we're just kind of testing. We're dancing, we're slow dancing with that level, and I'm really ready to just see a beautiful break above. Zinod saying, is it a preponderance of evidence? Yeah, I guess so. We're looking at all the evidence. Yeah, we're breaking down with the gavel. We're deciding this is a trade is or is not right for us, right? So I think that's a nice look here as well. Lots of mentions of Tesla. So let's look here. Tesla was trying to look a bit like reversally here. Then we kind of dip back below that 90 MA. However, we did make a slightly higher low here. So we're gonna have to wait and see on that. Last time though, I thought Tesla was making a higher low and I went long. I did get chopped up and spit out. So we're gonna have to wait and see on this. Again, especially with something like Tesla, you want confidence. The way Sharif said, I know I have the 9 EMA here. He has the 10 EMA. We were both saying it's holding to these EMAs very tightly, dancing, clinging to these EMAs. So I think this is certainly a look here that we can't ignore. Some mentions of SMCI here as well. Ooh, this is an interesting look on SMCI. I'm gonna draw this. So we have a pseudo double bottom here at, I can't believe I'm saying this, $1,015. Then we have, of course, a pseudo triple top. And I say pseudo because it's not exact, right? Like it's kind of, you know, more or less, it's rough. And this triple top going to be here around this 1,152. So it gives you a little bit of a range. Now what I really want to see though is will we reject that 1,133 level? A, because that was where we had that little pop earlier. B, it's coming into confluence with the 9 EMA. I think this area could get spicy. This is not a name that I trade because the spread is very intense. Right now it is over $1. It's roughly about $1. Okay, sorry. Now we're back to about like 50, 60 cents. But yeah, massive, moral of the story is massive spread on SMCI. On a prop firm, it is not the type of thing you want to vibe with.
Horizontal lines that you drew there.
Pardon?
Excellent.
Thank you, right? Because I was looking, we have that bounce at that 111.15, then we kind of come into that rejection, and it's coming into fruition too, that 111.32, and then that.
I like how you're defining the price action into different range trade zones so that you can dominate those zones. That's a good look there. Good for you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, all right. Fun, we're back to 14 here. So we did the eventual dip trade, and then we got a perfunctory bounce up, give or take, into that $0.50 area. In fact, we didn't even get to the $0.50. We got to the 40 penny area, but we're still holding up at 14 on Funware, but for how long? Sometimes we see these perfunctory bounces, and then we see the bottom really drop off once the selling starts coming in. So right now, there's clearly a hidden buyer at 14. There's not enough size. There we go. And now he gets eaten up. Now, does somebody else step in at this level, or are we going to give up the ghost at 14? Down we go again. There goes 13.75. Could we see lower? Now, if we give up the ghost at 14, where is the next support level? Hard to say, even when you look at the 5. And it looks right now like we have given up the ghost at 14. We'll see. I mean, kind of a little early to tell. But well, let's see here. 1350 was an initial, was this a halt level earlier? Let's find out. Let's go to the 1 minute. So 1350, yes, that 13, okay, so 1339 was an initial halt level on the way up, and that was the halt at around 1015. I always chart these halt levels as potential areas of both support and resistance. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't, but it's good to chart them. So yeah, 13.5 here. Let's see what we do at 13.5. I wouldn't be inclined to take a long here. It's just too close to VWAP for me to want to say, no, this is going to be the support level here. 14 was VWAP or is VWAP at the moment. I don't want to put too much stock into this previous halt level at 13.40, 13 and a third or thereabouts. Looks like it's getting a bit of a hold right now. We'll wait and see. Let's go back into the 5. What else we got going on? OCEA kind of was the dormant stock that I feel bad for not taking. This one didn't give you too much volatility, but it kept giving you that higher high and higher low. It's up 86%, guys. This is nothing to sneeze at here. It just didn't really seem to me, I don't know why I didn't get into this. It doesn't look like a bad name. It's a little wide in the range for a $3 name, but you could easily account for that just by taking smaller size and being able to take a bigger dip on a move down. I'm talking about the range per candle, right? If the range per candle is wide, you're gonna have to take smaller size if you wanna risk manage because you can find yourself on the wrong end of the trade real quick. But this is the one that I really feel like I underperformed on in small cap world today. OCEA, I did real well on BBAI. I could have had a very similar trade to on OCEA. And when you look at the charts on BBI, which is this one, and OCEA, they look awfully similar, right? They hug VWAP initially, and then the price starts breaking away from VWAP to the high side. And you see that with both of them, right? Not at the same times, but both have a very similar look. And they both have that initial pop-off right there, and then a retracement down. You get that on here on BBI, you get that here on OCEA. So very similar looks for both those names. So if they were similar look, you should have played them the same way. At least that's how I feel. Now, with respect to the future,
We kept talking about this pivot over here as being a level of support, and wowzers, did it ever. And that's the tough part about some of these things. Like, for example, I have pivots on, like what I mean to say is like this chart here doesn't account for the pre-market action, but yet I keep pivots on it just to realize where pivots are when you exclude pre-market action. But sometimes when I look at the chart that includes pre-market and after-market action, the price level respects the pivots there. So I always say this to Adara. I'm like, when you're using these indicators or moving averages or whatever you're going to use as a technical tool, look to see if the stock is respecting it on the day. If it's not, why am I using it? And so that means I'm going to have to look at multiple different views to see what it's respecting and what it's not. Case in point, this chart over here. This chart excludes pre-market action. Yet I wouldn't have known that this was a support level had I not had it there excluding the pre-market action, right? So many different looks you have to cycle through. That's why it's tough to trade, not just because things move fast, but you have to look at so many different perspectives and try to see which one is the one that's influential on the day. How's the food? Is it spicy?
Oh no, I'm literally just having
good?
a cough drop right now,
Oh,
the
okay,
lozenge,
I thought you were
fourth
eating.
throat. But no, this food was not spicy.
I ended up having that chicken, and it was the jerk chicken on Friday.
Yeah.
It was fantastic, but I did see your point about having a little bit too much spice, especially if you're sensitive. Yeah.
Thank you. I got roasted for that one. It was really funny. Neil and Sean both in the comments were like, it's not that spicy. Then my family watches the show and they're like, oh, like, so it didn't seem like it was actually that spicy, the chicken. And I was like,
I love how your family supports you watching the show.
it's very sweet. Yeah, they're
My
fans,
old
they
man
watch.
has no idea how to get the show, what YouTube is. No, I'm kidding. But my mom is always, she's like, why did you wear that color with that color? That doesn't suit you. Why you do your hair like that?
My mom too.
I'm like, Mom, bro, like, can I just like, get a day off without text message criticism?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, geez Louise.
Oh.
Say that again, Ram Ram. Ram said that's called cyberbullying. That's it. I'm reporting my mom.
Yeah, Ramin tells it like she sees it there. Yeah, Oren saying, look at Meta, lady. Yeah, I am looking at Meta. I totally do get, we have the lower highs. Like I said, the initial plan for this was a scalp. If I'd been a little bit scalpier here in the long, I think it would have worked a little bit better. But I'm not getting out yet though, because I wanted to wait for that VWAP bounce and that bounce around that 501 area, and we're getting that bounce a little bit right now. I have no reason to leave. As Sharif says, stand in the balance of the evidence. That's what I'm going to do. So we're going to have to wait here and stay the balance of the evidence right now for my thesis, which again was, and I want to clarify, I did say this a couple times as well. I knew the lower highs going into it. I knew the lower lows going into it. I was looking for that bounce play because we did have that constant kind of area back and forth there. I am, honestly though, my issue too is I keep getting out of these trades too early when they're still within my realm of interest, and we're still above that 501. I have no reason to re-alert now. Although, yes, I do see the chart, and I have to say there were a couple times that I was a little bit like, about being in this trade. But you know what, we're holding the 501, so I'm gonna stay for now. So just wanted to address that. I have seen the chart, and I do understand. And maybe, like I said, I think the biggest thing is I'm working on my theses, if you will, and trying to understand why I come to them and what's the deal going on there. So I think the thesis on Meta maybe could have used some work, but it really was just trying to benefit from these scalp opportunities.
Here we go. We're getting an explanation for this Tesla sell-off. Tesla shares fell more than 7% on Monday after its sales slumped in February in China, where it faced rising competition and a slowdown during the Lunar New Year holidays. Tesla sold 60,365 China-made vehicles in February, down 19% from a year earlier, and the lowest since December 2022, according to data from the Chinese Passenger Car Association. China's Lunar New Year holiday fell in February, reducing the car purchasing activities. So that should be normal, though. Tesla is also battling rising competition from Chinese rivals, BYD, yada, yada. Okay, so it looks as if, is this new?
I didn't.
Did
March 4th.
we know about this?
No, I didn't see anything on that.
China sales data, did we have anything on that last week? I feel like we might have known that last
I
week.
think we did have some on it last week. I'm trying to look here and see last Friday.
Yeah, that's really interesting because that's a down 19% year over year on the quarter. We're not comparing February sales to January sales. No, we're comparing February 2024 to February 2023. Why? That's really unusual. And we were talking about China reopening slowly last year, so demand should have been lower last year than they are this year. But now we've been hearing about a weaker Chinese consumer, obviously, owing to the weak iPhone 15 sales. So it stands to reason that we could, it stands to reason we would have lower vehicle sales as well. Nothing there, eh? So
Yan is saying it came out this morning.
It came out this morning?
I didn't see it.
Neither did I.
This morning when I checked.
Yeah, Yanis is saying it's from this morning. I can see what time it came in. I'm looking. I don't see that. So that came in later, Adara. China sales data came in on my blotter anyway, at around 12. So 12, so only about an hour and a half ago. If anybody saw it earlier than that, Rob EV says lower China sales with Tesla might also apply to Apple. And that's exactly what I was saying, brother. I was saying, the consumer seems a bit squeezed over on that side of the ocean. And if they're going to stop buying Teslas en masse, it stands to reason that they stop buying the iPhone en masse, which is like a fraction of the price, obviously, right? So yeah, that's exactly you and I seeing it eye to eye on this one. Yanis says he saw it on Bloomberg this morning. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Sean Hodgkiss says it was earlier as well. I know that it is. I think there's going to be a week this week. It's some sort of celebration in China. There's something going on. Is Lunar New Year? Or?
Yeah, I know apparently Chinese New Year in February.
No, there's something different there's something going on in China this year. I'll find out. Chinese New Year 2024 in Feb. No, I'm talking about something that's happening now. I'm pretty sure there's something China, there's some sort of celebration or something there. Oh, that's what it is. The party. I think the Chinese Communist Party, I'm pretty sure they're doing like a 5-day meet. And a lot of people are anticipating huge stimulus coming out of China to boost the economy. That's what it is. It wasn't anything celebratory. What's going on over there? You were thinking the same thing? Yeah, shout out to Neil. Neil knew where I was going with that idea, but he was nice enough to let me finish.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I think that's, I wasn't aware of that, so thank you for telling me that. Mm-hmm. Also worth noting here as well, Renata was saying something about this earlier, so shout out to Renata, but Conrad AR saying NEO reports tomorrow morning. Indeed they do, and a bit of a rough look the day before earnings. These rejections here kind of off VWAP, then off the 90 MA, continuing to, I was going to say curl, but also curdle also works. Curdling to the downside here. A little bit rotten look here in NIO. Let's look at the daily chart. Oh, P-Pro 8 got a little bit feisty. That's okay. Gonna pull that daily chart back up here for NIO, heading into the end of the day. But not the end of the day, but the end of the midday, mind you. Time flies. I cannot believe it's already 1:45. But yeah, this NEO look, we're already down like 9% on the day. Daily chart, just weak and weaker here for NIO. Lower highs, lower lows. I will say, if we have some like amazing beat, I'd be watching that 720 area because that was a bit of a low here for a while. For that was a bit of a support area on NEO for 720. If we have some awesome like gap up, that could be an interesting area, that 720, but that would be quite the gap.
It's a fantastic name to trade. You see Neil on it all the time. Not so much Sean, but I think it's a hot flaming you-know-what, this stock.
Yeah,
they're not getting their stuff together there.
Also worth noting too, Coinbase. I know some people mentioning Coinbase up about 13% despite, I guess, apparently more issues.
Unreal
with their platform. So give me a second, because of course, the way that we know about the issues with the platform is through our lovely sponsor, Benzinga Pro. So as you can see here, I go up here and I see, type in coin. Coinbase has small subsets of users, may see intermittent zero balance across accounts and latency across patients. Trading is not, this is a new one too, this just came out today. Yeah.
Didn't they do that on, was it Friday or Thursday?
That was on Wednesday, it comes out again today.
That was Wednesday? No, there was no way.
It was Wednesday.
Dude, time flies crazy.
Flies. But yeah, we are brought to you by Benzinga Pro, which gave you this story that is shocking Sharif currently because it is wild. But yeah, if you sign up today for 50% off of Benzinga Pro's premier news and research platform for retail traders, all you need to do is use the code TTV, capital letters, That is TTV, capital letters. Use the link in the description to go to checkout. Thank you very much to Benzinga for your support. And yeah, really great platform. It did give us that coin story. But in terms of the chart for Coinbase, all I can really say is upside, upside, upside. We had a little bit of a struggle with 225 once, twice, and thrice. A little bit of chop and churn, continuing to pop to the upside here, making higher highs. Really good look here. Honestly, not much I have to say here for Coinbase except wow. And also Mara wishes, because Mara is not doing what Coinbase is doing. Coinbase, more upside. Mara, more downside. A little bit of accumulation here, maybe at the bottom at 25.30. But right now, all I see is down, 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 down for MARA.
Sorry about that. Guys, perfect time to tell you about the new channel that we have. It's called More Trader TV Live, Ram, and it is an amazing channel. So basically, a lot of people want to know what the Neil is trading, what the Katina Man is trading. Today, it's Obi sitting in for Neil, obviously, but you'll be able to see here the OB, the one, the Canob is long Tesla at 187.22. You can see Neil over here. He's long Fisker, 48 pennies and short arm at 139.80. On the left and on the right, you're going to be able to see all their trades. Neil buying Fisker at certain time. Neil selling, short selling, arm at certain times. And all the OB, the one, the Canobes trades over here as well. So this is a fantastic look if you want to see what the guys are trading while we're doing the lessons and trading midday. In the middle, you'll see what the overall market's doing, the SPY, the Qs. And the economic calendar on the bottom left here, also very important. Fed Harker was dropping hot lines at 11 o'clock. And then Adair takes care of this top stuff over here. She'll put the top stocks. She'll put the headlines in, that tick at the bottom there. You'll also be able to see today's biggest movers. You saw me trade Funware. You saw me trade or talk about OCEA and take a trade on, what's that called? BBAI. These guys are all on there on the day. And the tickers, the very top. See those tickers? Those are the ones that make it onto the watch list. So you'll be able to see how those ones are trading all day. If you're not already subscribed to our other channel, More Trader TV, the link is in the description. And Bears versus Bulls just put it in as well, or Nightbot just put it in as well. The trading dashboard, as it's called. We're very proud of it. Our back-end team put in a lot of work to make this channel happen, and we really want to get it live out to everybody. Only 157 watching right now. For everybody who's watching this stream, you should be watching that stream. Just run it in the background, or get yourself a different monitor. Whatever you guys got to do. It's a fantastic look, and we're very happy with it there at Dara. Let's talk about some trades though. Keeping my eye on PHUN, it did hold up. Above 14, so it had a quick dip below 14, then right above 14 again we go. In fact, we almost made it back into that 15 level, but this one is presenting you all sorts of volatility, still up 100% on the day. So Funware continuing to pump here to the high side. And what's not to like about this chart? NVIDIA making its way back through 868 again, looking to break that 870 level. Tough to trade on a prop floor, especially live, because it's hard to manage risk on this name, but wow. This would be great for a nice little swing trade, maybe for the last couple of weeks. Go and have a look how much this has been moving. And then SMCI is up 25%, just a regular day over here with SMCI now up, what is it, $60 billion market cap? Oh, $63 billion market cap now.
It's like, excuse me, Sharif, those $3 billion really matter. Like, how dare you?
It gained $13 billion from Friday, Adara. Like, yeah. Well, NVIDIA gained $1 trillion in a few weeks.
How dare I question these
$1 trillion in a few weeks.
That's nuts. That is
Ponzi, shout out to you. Thank you for checking on that, Pons. I do appreciate you because I was under the impression that they were doing the economic conference this week. Shout out to Ponzi. Fonzie. Gandalf.
Gandalf the Great?
Swan. I don't know what that is.
I was saying that there's going to be a black swan event, I guess, in the market.
Oh, yes. I thought you meant like you were seeing something over here behind us. I was a little confused there.
Oh, Neil's saying if you can see the black swan, it ain't one.
Oh, go. What's up, Neil? Oh. I didn't know that's what you want to do, bro. You got to tell me these things. Shout out to the Neil.
Via swan.
Man, I'm not very good at keeping surprises. What's your look like over there, Dara? About 8 minutes left.
I have to say I'm pretty happy with this Mara short. We all know that I hate trading these coin or crypto-related names because I do not trust crypto farther than I can throw it, and I cannot throw it at all. But I like this 9 EMA rejection. We came in, we did curl up a little bit, so we ended a slightly higher low, and that's where the scalpulation comes in. The initial plan was 25.31. Then I noticed we're pausing around 25.40. So I say, you know what, Adara, if we take 25.39s, we'll be pleased as punch. We did, and I was. So that's my take on that, Mara. Nice. Honestly, really kind of funny to me that today my best names by far were Apple and Mara, and they're not names I trade very much. So I think that's a sign of, like, you have to be adaptable. Okay, I have no chart here for some reason. Let me pull up my Apples. Oh, I don't even have an Apple side chart. Give me a moment. Because this chart is only showing my triangles and not showing. There we go on Apple. But here we go. Here's Apple. Sorry, the chart's black. It's our P-Pro 8 chart. But as you can see, yeah, we had that move on Apple, just kind of scalping this along the ranges. And I think this goes to show, pardon?
Good for you.
Thank you.
Good, yeah.
I think that goes to show that, like, sometimes names that you don't expect, that you don't really trade a lot, you aren't as comfortable in, can be your name as if you have a setup that works. And that echoes something that you told me that I've really taken to heart, is that even in trending markets, there's usually some kind of range opportunity. And so I've just been trying to seek those out because those make me really happy. And I'm happy with this range right now in Mara, very much in a marathon to the downside, unlike Coinbase, which has kind of done the opposite. Also, I want to look at Meta here because I was in this Meta long. It made sense for about 2 seconds, and I have said this before, but I want to echo it again every time I bring up this trade. I saw the downtrend, but I thought because we kept having these pops up, I thought I'd be able to get about $1 here on a pop because we kept having these pops. We didn't have the pop there, but honestly, I can't complain. We failed VWAP, we got out. So there we go. You know, if as long as I honored my risk management strategy, there's nothing for me to be upset about. So there we go on this Meta. And honestly, funnily enough, the least disappointing of these trades, because these other two, these ended up actually working out the direction I thought they would after the fact. This one just, you know, wasn't my day, wasn't my bag. We hit the risk management, we got out. There we go. That's all I have to say here on on this take. NVIDIA
is back up to high days again, Adara. Right back into that 869.70.
Sorry, my chart's not showing. Let me pull
I can show it.
Okay. Yeah, no. Well, thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. It keeps knocking on the door of that 870. Remember how, like, a month ago we were talking about NVIDIA 669?
There's a seller at 94s. There's a seller at 94s.
Okay, show yours.
Come to my quickly. Ram, look at this. Okay, so we're stalling out at 94s. That there's not even a. There it goes. Here comes 870. This is squeezing now. 870 goes. 870 and a half. We clearly had a seller at 869.94. We stalled up there, but we ate through that seller. Now a new high day, a new all-time high on our way to 900 here at Darrow. Wow, this thing is an absolute rocket.
Yeah, someone was saying here too, I'm going to pull up this chart again. I think it was Chill Vibe saying, do we think we get NVIDIA 70 by the end of the month? Or sorry, NVIDIA 70. NVIDIA 900 by the end of the month. We're already on March 4th, and we're at NVIDIA 870. I think we could get NVIDIA 900 who knows when, right? Yeah, if it keeps moving. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. Chill Vibes, massive move here. Also, I'd like to point out the irony of me taking a long the one time NVIDIA was not a long. Really funny to me.
How annoying is that?
Right? The one time it wasn't a long, and back at, and I can't believe I'm saying this, a paltry 851. I'm using the Sharifism there now. We get it down to that 850 area. I get out, I get bottom wick. We keep wicking back up. But that's, you know what, we're here to learn. We're here to laugh. We're not going to let these wicks get us down because we're here to grow every single day. And so, yes, you know, now I can just sit here and laugh about the fact that I took the only incorrect NVIDIA long on a day where it's up $46.85 and about 5.7%. So what a time there. What a look. NVIDIA has been, it's been nuts. It's been a beast. That's really all I have to say about this. And I mean, if you were NVIDIA on the long, I think you had the WinVIDIA there.
Oh, there we go.
Look. And we're also, I guess, going to be teasing what's coming up tomorrow.
Yes, we are. So we're doing short selling all week. That's it was very much demanded by you guys that we cover short selling, and we really wanted to cover it because it is a risky endeavor, and we want to make sure all the new traders out there are practicing safe trading and good risk management. So tomorrow, we're talking about something that I think you might love, shorting a trading range breakdown. Range, Dara. Shorting a trading range breakdown, Ram, and I have the chart up for you here. Yeah, Ram, come on.
Like the hands.
Shorting and trading range breakdown. Make sure to check that out with Adara and I tomorrow, as we'll be talking about this. And if you like range trading, or if you like waiting for that key support level to break within a long range, you're going to want to hang out with us tomorrow, because we'll be telling you what to look for and how the whole trade unfolds there.
Yeah, there we go. And I mean, really excited to talk about that trading range breakdown. This is the type of trade that I like and I'd like to get better at.
Bang.
And that's why I'm happy we're going to be delving into it deeply tomorrow. Bears versus Bulls saying,
Yes.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much to you. As always, I also think it shall be a pretty exciting lesson indeed. Also, NVIDIA now dipping back below that 870 into that 869 area. Certainly not with the weird, vicious, insane omen-like state it had with that 669, which Sharif and I were talking about. That was like a, whew.
Yeah.
It was quite a crazy move there on that 669, but certainly something going on with NVIDIA. Meta, again, could be kind of an interesting short here, but I'm kind of really done with this name. We're heading into, we have about 3 minutes left on the show, and as I usually said, I do not trade in the, after the midday unless I'm still in a trade, and then I'll just let it leave.
Yeah, you and I both.
So I have, things to do, as we do, but yeah, here we go.
And just want to remind everybody who's wondering what the hell is going on with Tesla, down 7.5%. This is the reason right here, guys. If I can show the screen. Shares of Tesla down more than 7% after sales slumped in February in China. It sold a significantly less amount of cars this February than it did in February of 2023, 19% to be exact. They sold about 60,365 cars, and that sent this bad boy reeling to the downside. But it is not the only one in EV China world that's down. XPEV down 18.5%, NIO 18 2/3, and Li Auto is down 13.33%. Go down, Li Auto. More down, please. It's almost at the level, it's almost back at that level where I sold it, $13 off the top from Li Auto there. This thing popped up into 48 last week, and now it's at 37 2/3. Big move down for Li Auto on outsized volume. This is one of the only times I've seen Li Auto do more volume than XPEV. 14.5 million shares for Li Auto, only 9.25 for XPEV. Definitely not anywhere near NIO. NIO's 65 million, but I think the algos trade NIO a lot because, well, it's...
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Lee was outclassing both of them for volume earlier this morning by a lot, actually. Like Lee was outpacing NIO.
Oh, yeah.
So, this morning for volume. So interesting look there. But we will be seeing you tomorrow for trading range breakdowns. Ben Janender saying that's going to be less than a half. I think so too, but you'll have to catch us tomorrow. Same bad time and the same bad channel. We've got a couple seconds left here. We're going to be chatting about the markets. Yeah, that's why I wanted to wait, because I was like, it's not quite 2. But now it is. See you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Brendan's at the big desk, guys.
Hey guys, yeah, welcome in 2 o'clock on Monday afternoon here. That is going to be pretty interesting as we head towards the close. Very mixed session. Overall, the market's still a little bit red on the day, led by NASDAQ specifically.